What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 2N Chapter 3. Class 1A's Noumu. I can't believe he just did that without telling us. Toru slumped over her desk with a whine. Hey, we're surprised as you are. Honda said to her, I thought he'd tell you about that before since you two are close friends. We're not close. The invisible girl pouted with a small sigh. I guess he can't handle the pressure and transfer out to general education. Mina leaned back in her chair, which is no surprise, consider what we just went through this year. Kinda weird he was in our dorm for few days then just up and move everything out to other dorm. The tape elbow boy said before he looked at Naruto sitting at Ojiro's desk. The tail boy had transferred out of blue and took some by surprise. That shows that not all people are cut out for heroic career. Denki shrugged his shoulders. Some people don't appear to be bothered by Ojiro's transfer because he really don't stand out much and was too bland that he'll disappear into background. Quiet back there. Midnight snapped her whip to quiet the chatting in background before she turned back to her board. Where was I? Yes. If you look at page 121, you'll see. The class listened to her lesson until they hear a loud sneeze and powerful gusts send all papers flying around in air, earning some startled cries. I have obtained a quirk that allows me to create a powerful wind with a breath. Naruto said with a motionless expression under the cries and shouting, I apologize, please carry on with your lesson. That's fine. The R-rated heroine sweat dropped while collecting some papers along with her students. It had become common in Class 1A since Naruto joined and his true quirk sometime throw the class in chaos during any period. At least it's not the hair needle quirk. She thought to herself, there was an incident yesterday in math class and poor Ectoplasm still have to remove some needles from his back with Recovery Girl's help. Had took the blunt when he called Naruto up front to answer a question. Naruto was exploring the campus and he paused to stare at the overhead post with a tilted head then stare at the steel doors. Development studio. He uttered before he hears some conversation to his right and he turned his head to see Tenya, Izuku and Ochako walking together. I see. Iida cupped his chin, so you'll be focusing on floating your body. Yeah. Ochako nodded, if I give myself more mobility, then I can also make more of the fighting techniques I learned during our workplace experience. How about you? As you might expect, I'd like to reduce the drawbacks of my recipro. Tenya spoke, so I'm headed to the development studio to ask for a radiator upgrade. He looked to Izuku, you? I'm thinking of getting some arm supporters. Izuku muttered, and I need to build up my body more. Is that Shiratoko? The gravity girl spotted the Noumu, drawing her friend's attention. Honestly, she don't know how to act around him because he's their former enemy and now classmate but she believed that everyone should have a second chance as long as they don't commit a heavy crime so she should act friendly toward him. Hey, Shire. She lifted her hand up in greeting before the steel door suddenly exploded outward, following by smokes and some crash as the trio gawked at the sight. I swear you. Power Loader stepped out with rough coughs as he waved the smokes away. Don't just toss together whatever pops into your head so willy-nilly. Foo, but failure is the mother of invention, Power Loader sensei. A voice laughed as the gravity girl realized it. A man named Thomas Edison once said, just because something doesn't do what you planned it to do doesn't mean it's useless. That's not the problem. The supporter teacher growled, could you listen to me for once, please? Hatsume. The smokescreen cleared up to reveals Mei lying on top of Naruto and she turned her attention to him with tilted head. White. Mei grinned as she unknowingly flashed him a glimpse of her cleavage due to her loose tank top but Naruto don't bat an eyelash at that. Who are you? Are you a customer? Where have I seen you before? I am Naruto. The Noumu answered flatly, no, I am not a customer and I believe we have never met before until now. Really sorry about the sudden kaboom. The pink cat hopped off him on her feet as she dusted some dirt off her before she noticed the others. It's been a while, hasn't it? You're the heroic department kid. I forget all of your names. It's Midoriya Izuku. Izuku gulped nervously. I'm Iida Tenya. The stiff student shouted with arm chop, the man you used as a personal billboard during the sports festival tournament. And I'm Urara, the gravity girl said but, I get y'all. Mei turned back to her studio as Ochako stared blankly at her back. Right, well, I'm busy developing my babies, so bye. Wait, Izuku followed her in, I kind of wanted a few words from Power Loader sensei regarding the costume upgrade thing. Did you say costume upgrade? The pinkette's head whirred to them with a wide grin, I'm listening. Hatsume, Power Loader growled loudly, now that you're living on the campus, you're allowed to spend your time at the studio. His eyes narrowed, but if you go on wrecking the place at this rate, I won't be afraid to ban you. He turned his head to the students, I heard from Eraserhead. You must be here to tweak your costume for your new super moves. He waved them in, well, get in. Naruto was about to resume his exploring until the teacher called him, you too. Shiratoko. Eraserhead wanted me to size you up for your costume and you need to come up with it too. I understand. Naruto entered the studio, taking some glance around. Wow. Izuku grinned, reminds me of a secret base. Alright, now show me your costumes manual. The supporter teacher spoke, you've got it inside the case it came in, don't you? Come on, I've got a license for this. I'll take a look and tinker with what I can. For small-scale upgrades or repairs I can just report how I altered the costume to the design agency after the fact. but for larger scale upgrade, you need to write an application to the agency. Then once the government examines it and approve it, you can come back here to fetch it. Albeit, the agency I'm with is so first rate that it'll come back within 3 days most of the time. I was wondering if there was any way I could decrease the load on the ligaments in my arms? The greenette rubbed his shoulder. Is anything like that possible? Ah, that's right, your style uses your fists and fingers, if I recall correctly. Powerloader nodded. It's possible, all right. It will take a moment's tinkering and it'll be done in no time. All right, Deku. Ochako pumped her fist happily. Yeah. Izuku nodded before he froze as Mei feel his body up with her hands from behind. I see. Mei grinned. Wah. The gravity girl stared deadly at the pinkette with shadow over her eyes. What are you doing, Hatsume? Fufufu. I'm feeling his body. Mei said proudly as if she didn't do anything weird. Ah, yes. You're more built than you look, aren't you? The poor greenette stay froze with heavy blush. Fufufu. Have I got just the thing for a body like yours? While Mei forced Izuku into a mecha suit, Naruto just examined a random table and he looked over some gears with some blinks before Powerloader appeared at his side with hands on his hips. So, Shiratoko, what kind of outfit do you have in mind? I was told that you have a quirk that allows you to gain more quirks, so it'll going to be a little tricky to make you one. His comment unknowingly catches Mei's attention while she threw some supporting gears at the trio. So do you get any in mind or do you prefer to leave it to us? The Noumu was going to say something until a memory of Orange Jacket pop up. I desire Orange Jacket. Naruto spoke. You want Orange Jacket? Powerloader scratched his head as the metal grind on each other. And what else? I desire orange shirt and pant, he said with straightforward face. You. The supporter teacher blinked slowly as he stares at the blonde with WTF face. You want orange outfit? Like all orange? One that can stick out like a sore thumb. He feel like overloading when Naruto gave him a nod with straight face. I'll make you a better costume. Mei suddenly pop up between them as she gave Naruto a megawatt grin. One that can support you a lot. In her mind, that guy in front of her is a biggest customer from the very moment that Powerloader mentioned his quirk, and if that's true, she can make a lot of babies that can support many quirks in short time if she stick with him. She turned to Powerloader. Can I have him as my exclusive customer, please? Please, please. You. Powerloader grumbled as the crazy inventor begged him before he throw his hands up. All right, you can have him, but I'm having a final saying on his costume, get it? Yai, thank you. The pinkette cheered before she zoomed back to the trio. I better not regret that. The supporter teacher put hand on his mask with a grumble while Naruto stared blankly at him. He's acting normal and did his best to play it off as usual, but inside, he was freaking out. How can it be? Why does the heroes let this damn Noumu switch sides, and to make it worse, they put this bastard in the same school with him? What if he know it's him? No, he have went through a lot of efforts to make sure nothing can track back to him, and if he was already ousted, they could have arrested him on the very day this Noumu appear. He need to take some deep breath and pretend that there is nothing wrong and focus on his task, which is collecting some information and deliver it to his allies as possible as he can. He take a sip of his water bottle as he take a glance around his surrounding as calm as he can. Tomoko fidgeted with her dress as she sit in a private booth in the back of the cafe. She's having a meeting with someone after a long time and she don't know how it'd turn out after that. This person she's meeting is not anyone but an important person in her life, and father of Naruto. Tomoko take a long sip of her water out of nervousness. Originally she was going to keep it a secret, but it don't feel right and he'll find out because of his job, so she want to let him know and let him make his own decision. She comb her hair with her fingers as she remember the day she broke up with him. They was so young when she get pregnant and blame herself the day she miscarried, no matter how many time he keep tell her it wasn't her fault. She was so upset and depressing that she would sometime take it out on him, then suddenly left him one day because seeing him keep remind her of their loss, and she barely contact him after this day. Tomoko winced at the memories. She was a teenager at this time and don't know any better. The search user brushed the skirt of her dress with a small sigh. She don't really expect her life to turn out this way. Tomoko's quirk alert her of someone approaching her and she look up to see him as he give her a puzzling look with soft smile, which she returned with a timid smile. Hey, you. Tomoko said, preparing herself to dump the bomb on him. The teenagers were back in the dorm and feel so exhausted from the training. Some teenagers was relaxing in the common room. Hey, I'm setting up a movie night. Toru waved the remote controller up in air after she turned the television on to demand channel. Anyone wants to get on it with me? Yeah, I'm all for it. Eijiro gave out a thumb up as few teenagers nodded to her suggestion. Let's pick action movie. Nah, let's watch some comedy. Hanta replied. Romance. Mina pumped her fist up in air. We should watch porno. Minoru drooled, which led Tenya to scold him from the kitchen as everyone ignored him. Let's vote on what movie we want to watch. The invisible girl giggled. She's fine with anything as long as everyone have good time. She looked up when the sound of front door opened and closed, then Naruto walk in with books. Hey, Naruto. We're having a movie night, wanna join? She never noticed few teenagers stiffened at that. What is movie night? Naruto stared at the grinning invisible girl and she wasn't bothered by the lack of his expression. Oh, it's one of hangout things where you spend times with friends by watching movies and have fun. Toru explained before she tilted her head at him. So do you want to join us? Yes, I will join the movie night to understand the purpose behind it. The Noumu nodded before he paused. What is movie? Haha, sit here and find out. The laughing invisible girl patted the empty seat next to her on the couch. Oh fuck no, I ain't going hanging around a shitty villain. Katsuki get up with a snarl and he walked toward the Noumu, shove his shoulder against the blonde's shoulder while smacking the books down. You have no place here, you fucking bastard. Leave this place if you know what's good for you or I'll fucking kill you. He shouted in Naruto's face with a spat before he stomped to the elevator but not before he hit the blonde's shoulder hard and the Noumu was unfazed by the whole thing. Hey, you don't have to be mean, asshole. Toru frowned as few teenagers were stunned by Katsuki's action. Yeah, Baku bro, that was kinda uncalled for. Eijiro said bewilderedly as Mina frowned before he go over to pick Naruto's books up. You alright? Shitty hair, don't you fucking feel sorry for this fucking bastard? The explosive user snarled before he entered the elevator to go up to his room. I'm not going to stick around if he's going to sit here. Denki get up to go to his room. Minoru also joined him while screaming something about, don't want to die, or attack. Honda left because he said he was little uncomfortable but have nothing against the Noumu. How dim of them. Yuga shook his head at the teenagers that left, too blind to. Don't let that get to you. The invisible girl said to Naruto as he sat down, unknowingly cut the French boy off. It's no secret that the class becomes somewhat divided when Naruto transfer in. Some believe that he deserves a second chance, some believe he should be arrested and some stay neutral in favor of seeing him acting before they make their decisions. Why? Naruto asked with blank face. I do not understand what you do mean by that. Never mind. Toru waved it off as she turned back to the television. Let's watch. She selects a movie after the group voted on it. In the kitchen, Kyoka narrowed her eyes at Naruto through the doorway as he stared at the television while answering Mina's questions about his books and the rocker rubbed her arm in attempt to massage the phantom pain out. Inwardly, she believed that what Bakugo did was uncalled for but it don't change the fact that they shouldn't trust this psycho because he easily switched sides as if there's no consequences and what if he decide to go back, there'll be no stopping him. Kyoka grit her teeth, she have to keep her eyes on him and act accordingly. One afternoon, Naruto was watching the students work on their super move next to Shota before Toshinori walked up to them. How's their progress, Aizawa my man? The former #1 hero raised his hand up. Back again? The scruffy man huffed, it's slow but steady. I see. The blonde man looked around with a nod before his head turned to the Noumu. Naruto my boy, how are you handling the new changes? I believe it is correct to saying that I am doing well. Naruto said with blank face and Toshinori scratched his head unsurely. The man have noticed couple glares thrown at the young blonde's way since he get inside the gym. Well, that's good. Toshinori put his hand on the Numu's shoulder. Listen, I want to say that it's going to be very hard from here onward but hang in there. Things will start to look up in a time. I do not understand. He tilted his head. You will, in time. The older blonde patted his shoulder before he walked away to find some students to help out and Naruto simply blinked. Anyway, do you have any new quirks since you received a wind-based quirk? Shota grunted to get the young blonde's attention. No, I have not. Naruto replied before they hear a shouting. Hey, look above you. Katsuki shouted as a large cement piece fall toward Toshinori. UIDI, the scruffy man ran forward, grabbing his scarf until he stopped when Izuku leaped into action as the greenette destroyed the falling cement with a powerful kick. Are you okay? Izuku turned to his idol, All Might. Yep. Toshinori grinned. Midoriya, that you? Denki jogged up to them with Eijiro. Holy crap, that was some destructive power. Yeah, I thought you were a puncher, Eijiro said. Oh, hey, Kaminari, Kirishima. The greenette lifted his foot up to show his soul. The destructive powers thanks to these souls Hatsume came up with. And I changed my style by observing how Ida moves his body. All I've really done is determined what direction I'll be going now, and this skill's still only hot off the forge, so it's nothing I could call a super move just yet, but... That's all right. The skinny blonde waved it off, because that skill is probably more than just hot off the forge. For the provisional license exam, that is. It's dangerous here, All Might, don't get too close. Shota walked up with a sigh. But I'm heading out anyway, Toshinori replied. Naruto turned away from the scene to stare at some teenagers training until his eyes land on Kyoka as she adjusts the amps on her legs to test the power of Soundwave and he watched her work out for some times. The rocker noticed his staring and she sent him a sneer, which don't unfazed him, before the rocker turned away from him with an angry huff. Time's up, Class A. Everyone turned to see Vlad King as he entered with his homeroom class. Today we arranged for Class B to use TDL this afternoon. Class B. Izuku uttered. So make haste out of here, Eraser. The blood hero scowled. We've still got a few minutes left. Shota drawled, not very good at making the most of the time allotted. Hey, did you hear? Nato spoke out loud as soon as he see the Class A. They say half the people who take the test for provisional fail. So why don't you all fail for us, Class A? Hello. Reiko approached Naruto. Do you remember me? I remember you from our previous encounter. Naruto replied flatly as he ignored some cautioning glances from Class 1B. The students have mixed feelings like Class 1A. That's why we applied to have the two classes take the exam at separate arenas. The scruffy teacher spoke a little loud to get the students' attention. The hero qualification exam occurs with the same challenges at 3 locations twice every year, in June and September. Vlad said, To prevent students from the same school from crushing their own, the standard practice has been to make students from every school take the test at different times and places. Such a shame we can't crush you directly, Nato shouted smugly after exhale out once. Ah, there he goes. Eijiro's sweat dropped. Maybe his mental disorder has a name. Denki inputted. We're skipping over the normal courses for normal course for obtaining licenses, Izuku said thoughtfully. Yes, only a minority of schools has their freshmen get provisionals, Shota replied. To put it another way, it'll be a gathering of kids who have had more time to train and whose quirks you know nothing about. We can't know what will be on the exam, but there's no doubt it'll be rough. Don't fixate on that too much, of course, but don't forget, either. Everyone think about his words for the rest of the day. It was Sunday when everyone was up and around until the teenagers see Tomoko waiting in foyer, wearing teal blouse with jean and shoes. Ragdoll, what are you doing here? Eijiro asked puzzlingly. I'm here to take my son out on a little mother-son date. Tomoko thrust her fist up with a beaming grin. We have a lot of things to make up for our lost years. Oh, that's nice. The redhead scratched his cheek with slow blinks before the elevator ding and they turned to see Naruto step out. Naruto, the search user paused with everyone else when they see him wearing his school uniform before she grabbed her son as they enter the elevator. Get you change and go to zoo. The doors closed and the teenagers blinked rapidly. Did she say the zoo? Momo raised her eyebrow and some were wondering why they chose zoo. It turned out that Naruto chose it right away when Tomoko called him the other day about which place he wanted to visit on free day. Naruto, wearing a plain jean with orange shirt and pair of sneakers, stared at the entrance of zoo as his mother purchased the tickets before she bring him into the zoo and he look around while Tomoko take the map. What animal do you want to see first before the dolphin show? She showed him the map and he stared at it for a while. I want to see the pandas, Shiratoko, Naruto answered. Alright, let's go. Tomoko dragged him, and call me mommy. He wants to ask her what's the purpose of parents and children but it went out of his head when he see the panda in person for the first time. The search heroine smiled at her son as she listened to him reciting word for word from the placard in front of the elephant's pen. Elephants are located in Africa and south part of Asia, and is found in habitats, including savannas, forests, deserts and marshes. Naruto recited as he stared at large elephant tend to a calf in water. They are herbivorous and stay near water. They are very valuable and important because of their impact on the environments. I wonder what make him like animals very much. Tomoko watched her son happily as she see a rare smile form on his lips before she giggled quietly to herself while reaching inside her pocket. He's like a little kid. What is it? The Noumu turned to her with a small tilt of his head, his face become blank. Gah, I was going to take a picture of you smiling. The search user have her phone out with a silly groan. I do not smile. Naruto replied, I am a Noumu, we have no. You just smiled a little ago when you look at the animals. Tomoko bopped his forehead lightly with her knuckles in cat fist, and no Noumu talked, hun. You're human. I am not a human. The blonde teenager turned back to watch the elephants and his mother sigh slightly at him. She's not going to push it because that is the first day she spent time with her son and she have a lot of time to change his mindset. Until then, she wants to enjoy the day and make some memories with him. Ah, right, there's gift shop near here. She suddenly realized when the mother and son walked to the next exhibit. It was dark when several teenagers eat their dinner until they hear door opening and close before Naruto walk in and Ochako spit laugh when she see him carrying many stuffed animals in bags, wearing goofy giraffe hat on top of equally goofy parrot hat. I believe the correct phase is I am back. Naruto said blankly before he walked to the elevator. I guess he have a good time. Rikido guessed. He assumed that it must be good enough that the blonde got some items from the zoo. The bus pull up in front of a large stadium and Aizawa step off before he turned to his class. Get off, we're here. He grunted, one of the exam arenas, the national stadium in Takoba. I'm getting so nervous. Kyoka shivered, stepping out with her class. We're doing it in Takoba. Izuku gulped. Man, what'll they have us do for the test? Phew, I hope I can earn a provisional, Minoru fidgeted. Mineta. The scruffy teacher bent down with a glare. There's no I hope, return back here with your provisional. Alright. Oh of course, the nervous midget nodded furiously. Remember, if you can just pass this exam and obtain your provisional license, then you will cease to be mere eggs and hatch into chicks. Aizawa straightened up, into semi-pros. So give it your all. He glanced to Naruto, Shiratoko, watch them and learn. The Noumu is the only student that won't take the exam because he's behind, which is no surprise courtesy of his late transfer. Awesome. Come on everybody, let's go hatch into chicks. Eijiro pumped. Let's hit out of the park like always. Say with me now. No one noticed a new guy appear behind them, plus. Ultra. They turned around to see a tall bulky boy with buzzcut and hat in some school uniform. Don't go crashing the circles of outsiders without invitation, Inasa. The class turned their gaze over to a small group, who wear similar uniform with hat like this boy. Ah, you're right. Inasa grinned before he threw his back out then smashed his head down on ground in a deep bow. Please accept my sincerest apologies. Almost everyone jumped at the loud sound of his forehead hit cement. What's up with this guy? Denki shouted bewilderedly. He's totally the type who just get through everything by being intensely chipper. He's like Iida and Kirishima squared, Hanta muttered. The East's got Yue. Katsuki grunted, and the West's got Shiketsu. Of the many departments of heroics in all the high schools out there, the one rival school that poses an obstacle for UA, Shiketsu Academy. I've always wanted to say at least once. Inasa stood up with wide grin as his forehead bleeding. Plus Ultra, I love YUUEI Academy. It's such a pleasure, the highest honor, to be able to compete against YUUEI. Yorashi Inasa. Aizawa muttered while holding Naruto's shoulder. The Noumu have a bad habit of going up to wounded people and take their injuries, and he don't want anyone to know about that until the Noumu is ready for heroic business. Heel quirk is very rare and valuable. Do you know him, sensei? Toru asked. Talk about enthusiastic, huh? Ejiro said, and everything he said sounded good-natured and normal. That kid, the scruffy teacher said, he's no pushover. His name's Yorashi. At the end of the last school year, or in other words, when you were all applying for the entrance exam, he was selected as one of the recommended students but, for some reason, despite his top-of-the-line grades, he declined to enter UA. Really? Izuku gasped, but wait, that'd make him a freshman, right? Not to mention, to have the top qualification for the recommended spots, wouldn't that make him even stronger than Todoroki? I don't get it. Honta raised his eyebrow. He says he loves UA, but he tosses his chance at entering? So weird. Mina muttered. Oh, he may be weird, but make note, he's the real deal. Aizawa replied until he heard someone calling out to him. Eraser. Eraser, is that you? The said underground hero turned around questioningly before his face scrunched up in horror as a grinning woman in pirate-like outfit walked up to him. I saw y'all on TV and at the sports festival and whatnot, but it's been forever since we bumped into each other like this. That lady, the greenette boy gasped in recognition. Come on, let's get hitched. The woman grinned to the scruffy man. No, the underground hero shivered. No, the woman laughed. What a laugh. Your jokes are as impenetrable as ever, Aizawa grumbled. She's the heroine of smiles, Miss Joke, Izuku said excitingly, her quirk's called peals of laughter. She can use her quirk to dull the thoughts and deeds of anyone near her by forcing them to laugh their heads off. The way she dispatches with villains is really crazy, too. If you put a ring on my finger, we can build a blissful home with no end to the laughing, Miss Joke laughed. That'd be a far cry from blissful, the scruffy man deadpanned. I do not understand. Naruto turned to the homeroom teacher. That's good thing you don't, Aizawa replied. You're being really friendly, Suyu said to the laughing woman with finger on her chin. Our offices used to be close, Miss Joke answered. We kept helping each other out and before we know it, we were in love. Lies. The scruffy man deadpanned. I have some questions about love. The Noumu said to his teacher, what is the purpose of love? What is the symptoms of? I'm not even sure if you are serious or mocking me. Aizawa deadpanned at the blonde Noumu, feeling a lot of headaches already. It's always a blast teasing ya, Eraser. Miss Joke glanced over her shoulder to her students with a chuckle. Come on, kids, come here, it's UA. Whoa. A teenager boy with black spiky hair grinned in the flesh. I can't believe it. A teenager girl with spiky short pigtail and long bangs swatted the boy's shoulder. I've seen all of them on TV. Provisionals for freshmen. A teenager boy with long black hair and small blank face said, well, if that isn't some high-pace education. Though I guess a lot's happened, so, makes sense. Goes to show you, they do things differently. Meet the sophomores I'm in charge of, Miss Joke grinned, Ketsubutsu Academy's Class 2-2. The name's Shindo. The spiky-haired boy shook Izuku's hands, then each student's hands. UA's been through quite the string of troubles this year, huh? But you're all still aiming to be heroes, despite it all. So admirable. I think that from now on, what every hero fundamentally needs is an indomitable spirit. He turned to Katsuki, and then there's you, Bakugo. The kid at the center of the Kamino incident. You must have an especially strong heart. He offered his hand to the explosive user. Today, if you'll have me, it'd be my honor to be allowed to hone my skills with partners of your caliber. Don't patronize me. Katsuki smacked the hand away. Your words don't match your eyes. Hey, Todoroki, you were so cool during the sports festival. The girl with spiky hair come close to the dual-haired boy. Gimme your autograph. The boy stepped back uncomfortable, due to invaded personal space. Hey, stop waste time. Aizawa barked out to his class as he beckoned Naruto to come with him. Man. Kyoka looked around. Every time we brush with people outside UA, I'm reminded. Yeah, just how friggin' famous we are, Denki agreed, as UA kids. Did you not? Miss Joke turned to the scruffy man. Tell them, Eraser? What do you not tell them about? Naruto looked up to the scruffy man. You'll see. He grunted as the students entered the stadium to go to the changing room while the adults and one Noumu went other way. Oh, Eraser, please wait. A voice called out. Now what? Aizawa turned to the owner of the voice with a huff as Naruto stared at them. What? I have a request to make. The owner said as the scruffy man barely raised his eyebrow. It's way out of field but it'll be good for everyone. The second part of the test was pretty straightforward, recuing the injured people, who are actors from Help Us Company, as fast as they can and act properly, depending on one stage of injures. Honestly, Kyoka find this exam to be the most furious because the actors were screaming and barking they're complaining to her, even if their complaints have nothing to do with the rescue exam but she just suck it up and do her job unlike a certain someone. Get your fucking self out, Fucker. Bakugo stomped past the pleading man with wiggling snake hair, who was pinning under the debris. Use your fucking quirk. I'm docking points. The man grunted, what if I'm a quirkless citizen? If you're damning quirkless fucker, then do us all favor and go fuck yourself off. The explosive user scoffed. Save us money and time. A waste of shitty space like you have no place. Wah? Kyoka felt anger boiling up inside her as soon as she heard him. She never stand this guy from day one because of his crude attitude and the way he treat everyone around him, and to her, he's getting worse since after Kamino incident. Docking points again. The man scowled as the explosive boy stomped away without helping anyone at all. Bah! The rocker growled until the wall on opposite side of the field explodes, following by series of explosives. What the? Now it's time. Mara cleared his throat as Gang Orca stepped through the hole with his sidekicks. Villains have appeared out of the woodworks to give chase. All would be heroes on the scene. Kindly suppress the villains while at the same time continuing relief efforts. That's insane. Kyoka uttered as the teenagers around her started to scatter before a pillar near them suddenly blast apart. Wah! Her head whipped around to see Naruto wearing same outfit like Gang Orca's sidekicks, and he was holding a red marker in right hand and cue cards in other hand. At same time, you will do everything to protect victims from another villain with multiple quirks. Mara spoke. This villain is planning to make name for himself by increased causalities and take heroes down. If he gives innocents a fatal mark with red marker, they're counted as dead and will dock your points if they're in your vicinity, so do your best. Have fear, for I am here. Naruto read the cue card out loud as the examinees become unnerved by his lack of expression and emotion, do an evil laughter. And the nervousness was gone as everyone stared at him weirdly. Prepare yourself, heroes. Flip the card. He flipped the cue card over. Here I come. He looked up to stare at them blankly. What's up with him? Someone muttered. This guy kinda looks familiar. Someone else said with puzzling expression, and before they know it, the Noumu was right behind them as he drew a big red cross on actor's face. Wah? Naruto was already few feet away from them, drawing a red line across a female actor's neck, then a big dot on child actor's forehead. Bah, we're dead. The first victim dropped his head on ground with his tongue out, all because the heroes just standing around doing nothing. Docking points time 100. Crap. A random examinee cried out as everyone take action right away. Up in the galley, Aizawa watched the teenagers scrambled around as Naruto claimed few victims, and he think back to few hours early. Gang Orca caught them when they walk in, and he asked the homeroom teacher if it's possible to borrow Naruto for the second part of exams since he already know about the Noumu, due to the Kamino incident in his job. The whale-like hero said it'll be a good experience for the hero in training teenagers since they have never went up against someone with multiple quirks or a Noumu, and he said he'll understand if one of them refuse. The scruffy teacher agrees to his suggestion and makes sure that Naruto understand it's a play role and that he can turn it down. The boy accepted. Aizawa personally believe it'll be a good lesson to the future heroes and what to do when they go up against someone powerful in order to avoid another Kamino incident or facing against Numas if there's more of them around. Plus, that may give Naruto some experience and give Aizawa a good understanding on this boy. I'll get him. A brave examinee lunge at him, only to receive a round kick to face from the Noumu and the examinee fly backward into several yelping examinees with a crash. Normally, he would have suffered some serious injuries, but with the restriction gears on Naruto, the brave examinee only earns broken nose and busted lip as his rewards. Naruto noticed another elder actor near him and he calmly reach out to scrawl red line all over the elder's face. It seemed to set the examinees off as they take action. Some form a protective barrier around the actors and some take up stances, preparing to hold him at bay while forming some plans with some quick summary of their quirks, until someone ruin everything for few minutes. Finally, Katsuki shot toward Naruto with blasting hands with sinister glint in his eyes, giving no regards to anyone that caught in his crossfire. Time to murder you. That idiot. Kyoka shielded an actor along with everyone that share her thought, even some shouted it out as the violent teenager unleash his blasts everywhere at Naruto's direction, forcing the examinees to break their ranks in process. The explosive user swing his right arm downward before the Noumu grab his wrist, slamming the explosive boy on ground with enough force to leave a small crater, and Naruto kick him in chest, sending him flying into a unlucky examinee with a hard crash. I have reached 5 kills. Naruto draw a vertical red line on a female actor's face. He was told to say it every time he make 5 kills. You bastard. Katsuki was back up as he pulled the pin from his right grenade gauntlet, alerted Kyoka. This fucking moron. The rocker sharply turns her head to shout at her fellow examinees, get out of the way. If you have protective quirks, cover everyone. Her warning gives some with defense quirks enough time to protect the HUC and their fellow examinees as the explosive user unleash one of his powerful blast, knocking almost everyone off their feet from the shockwave. Fuck yeah, I put this bastard down. The explosive user grinned wickedly as he ignored some angry shouting from shitty extras. He don't care because he wiped this fucker out for good. Now the shitty safety whatever extras will give him license for killing a villain before he get too powerful, and his face gets smashed by a fist as Naruto emerge from the smokescreen unscratched. The Numu's another hand break left grenade gauntlet apart with iron grip and the explosive user fall backward before Naruto grab Katsuki's right ankle, then the Noumu sharply turn around, throwing the explosive user across the field far away from the area. By the time Katsuki recover and make his way back, it'll be too late. This guy just took the blast at blank point and come out of it unscratched. A random examinee gasped, what kind of quirk does he have? They said he have multiple quirks, remember? Another examinee reminded her. This bastard, how can we deal with him alone? Kyoka stared at the Noumu before he turns his gaze to her and her mind went back to this day as her body trembled. The memory of this bastard easily break her arm in pieces, the fact that her heroic career should have ended there before it even start and how he loom over her like if she's an insect to him. The memory replay itself over and over in her heads until the rocker squash it down. No. I am not this same weak girl I was back then. Her ear jacks flew into her amped gloves. Everyone, clear the way. She smashed her hands on ground to use her heartbeat fuzz, shattering the ground under Naruto's feet and he stumbled around as some flying rocks fall on him. We need to work together to take this guy down now. Those who can't fight, get the HUCs out of here as fast as you can. Everyone in her surrounding obeyed. Naruto pushed large rocks away before he see four examinees leaping toward him with some kind of capturing quirks, which appear in form of ropes, beads, web and sheet, and he sharply exhale out to send a powerful wind, blowing the yelping examinees away. Suddenly, Eijiro tackle him with another strengthened user and it almost sweep the Noumu off his feet, only to stomp his right foot into the earth then he reached down under them before he tossed them over his shoulders. Naruto was about to charge forward but Eijiro grabbed his head from behind in midair. Gotcha. Eijiro grinned as he hardened his body, hit him. Now, Kyoka blast Naruto with high-frequency soundwave that stun him and several examinees attack him with their abilities, some tie him down with the capturing quirks as the Noumu try to resist them but there are too many opponents on him. Yes. The rocker smirked to herself, she's not her weak self anymore and this psycho is not this stronger or skill enough to handle a good teamwork. Naruto met her eyes and his eyes suddenly become pitch black, startled her. Wah. Interesting. Naruto uttered softly in echoing tone that only Kyoka can pick it up, courtesy of her enhanced hearing, before five smokes pop out of nowhere and it swiftly clear up to reveal. Five Naruto that drop on the shocked examinees, freeing the original as the rocker watch Naruto's eyes turn back to normal. Ah, I have obtained a new quirk. He said normally with a motionless tone, Cage Bunshin. It allows me to create shadow solid clones as much as I desire and receive their memories and experiences once they dispel. Wah, a random examinee choked on his spit, why is he telling us about Cage Bunshin? The blonde said before thousands of clones appear from thin air, swarming the yelling examinees and marking HUC actors with red markers. Oh, you get to freaking kidding me. The rocker shouted as the examinees fight back, at least she learned that the clones can be easily taken out with a single hit so she used wide-scale attack along with other examinees. You gotta be kidding me. Aizawa exhaled tiredly as he watched Naruto spam clones everywhere and what drive him up the wall is that it turned out the clones can use originals quirks. Wow, that's one useful quirk there. Miss Joke whistled, it will make crowd control easy and etc. The underground hero agrees with her there but he will not let her know that. Leave the clones to me. A slender examinee pulled bandage wrap off his right arm, I'll take care of them with Epic King Super Cool Emperor's Black Fire of Dragon's Pun. A blaring ding frees everyone in middle of their action. Ahem, EHM, we're now announcing that all of the stationed HUCs have been evacuated out of the danger zone. Mara spoke, as such, do pardon us, but we shall be taking the liberty of ending the provisional license exam here. It's all over. After the final tally, we shall present the pass and fail results at this very site. Those who are hurt, go to the infirmary, everyone else, change your clothes and stand by. No. The examinee dropped down on his limbs with a wail in front of Naruto. I never get a chance to use my Epic King Super Cool Emperor's Black Fire of Dragon's Punch of Doom. The Noumu stared down at him before he bent down to pat his back few times as everyone can't help but to sweat drop at that. I believe that is the correct way to comfort someone, according to the Social Manner for Dummies book. Naruto said flatly, yes. Everyone sweat drop enlarged and the scruffy teacher want to facepalm so hard. Aizawa and Naruto were waiting outside the stadium for Class 1A to come after they checked the results and the scruffy man already know the result beforehand. All but Bakugo and Todoroki have passed the exam. He was surprised that Todoroki have failed the exam but he wasn't surprised with the former because of his personality and behavior. I should have a talk with Bakugo. Aizawa huffed quietly before he turned to Naruto. Shiratoko, don't you say your zero quirk give you a new quirk somewhere between 6 months to year? The zero quirk make its own decision. Naruto replied expressionlessly. I'm going to ask for a raise. Aizawa rubbed his forehead with a quiet grumble. Deku, you cryin'? Ochako asked Izuku, who was crying over his license as the group exited the stadium and both Aizawa and Naruto turned to them. Naruto, have you witnessed how Bright-Eye, Yuga posed, only to be cut off by an invisible girl? Naruto, you surprised us back there, Toru hopped with waving arms, why don't you tell us before the exam? It was done at the last minute, the scruffy teacher answered instead of the blonde Noumu. Man, I thought we almost have you before you bring the clones out. Eijiro sighed with a small tear in his eye, I was so scared that we were going to fail the exam, but you were so manly. Fighting off so many guys by yourself before the clones. Some start to chat excitingly or nervously about his new ability while the others stay silent or talking to each other about something else and Naruto just tilt his head at them. Eraser. Miss Joke show up with a grin, don't get the chance very often, so what'd you say about some joint training sometime soon? Sure. Aizawa replied, that might be good, I'll ask Nezu for permission. Right. The laughing heroine glanced to the Noumu, hey, good work today, all looking forward to your exam next year. Naruto turned his head to blink at her before he give her a nod and she walk off to gather her students up. Alright. Everyone, get on the bus immediately. The scruffy teacher clapped his hands and his students fall in messy line as they get on the bus. Now back at the dorm, most teenagers were celebrating their success in the common room. It's back to normal lessons tomorrow, Denki moaned. Gimme some chocolate. Toru waved. Summer break was way too eventful, Mina half sobbed. Texting? Eijiro said to the bush-haired boy. Yeah, Izuku nodded. By the way, why are we watching some reality show? Fumikage grimaced at stupidest reality show ever. I desire to learn more about the cultural and society of humankind. Naruto replied, I was told that I will understand humans more by watching a reality show. There are better ways to learn more about humanity and that is not one of them. The shadow user deadpanned. And who told you that? Eijiro turned with raised eyebrow. Salad. The Noumu answered. Oh, him. The invisible girl blinked, where is he anyway? He is cleaning the school, the blonde answered. At this hour? Momo asked, overheard him. Poor Salad, have to do it at night with no one around. La 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 la. Salad sweeps the floor with mop as he sing out merrily to the echoing hallway. I have something inside me called a heart. A soul, la la la. Stupid fuckers, who do they think they are? Katsuki had been complaining non-stop since they left the stadium as he stomped around in the kitchen with loud popping and it get on Fu's nerves. Failing me just because I fucking refuse to do a shitty exercise. And what are these bullshits from those shitty weak-ass losers? Who the fuck care about what the shitty hucks thinks are the quirkless? They should fail everyone here and just give me the license so I can murder the fucking villains. He stomped toward Izuku with a glare. Hey, fuck wipe. Show your face la. It's good thing they don't give you provisional license, asshole. Kyoka said snarky to the explosive user. Her friends and few others were taken aback by her outburst. What does that supposed to mean, shitty Jack? Katsuki snarled. You heard me, asshole. The rocker get up from her seat with a hard glare. You don't deserve a license, not after how you treat rescue scenario like it's not important in the way you handle it. What if it's real? Oh, and let's not forget what you said to some HUC guys that was pretending to be quirkless. I won't be caught dead helping a fucking weak ass just because they can't help themselves like a fucking bitch. The explosive user growled as few teenagers widened their eyes at him, and who the fuck care about useless quirkless bastards, they're just waste of space and should go D. My old man's quirkless so I'd better watch my fucking mouth if I was you. Kyoka glared deadly, surprised almost everyone in the room. Huh, no wonder why you're fucking weak and useless because of a shitty quirkless. Katsuki shouted, I feel so bad for. Knock it off. Mina get up with a hardened glare at the explosive user. I don't know what the hell get into you lately but you better take a walk right now. The explosive user want to say something back before he noticed some staring from the others. Tisk. I'm going to my room. The explosive user walked into the elevator and it became awkwardly quiet in the common room until Kyoka walked to the front door with hard stomps. Jiro. Where are you going? The acid user asked worriedly with concern. Taking a walk. The rocker replied angrily as she slammed the door behind and again, it became quiet in the room for a while. Toru squirmed in her seat under an uncomfortable mood before she notices something. Where's Naruto? Oh, and. Fucking jackass. Kyoka kicked Pebble away as she stomped through the campus natural park within a replica city, should have socked his face in. It really piss her off that the bigots like Bakugo have become common lately in this generation and how they treat quirkless people, although there are laws against it. She's really proud of her old man because he worked hard to become a popular and famous musician without any quirk and he always say that he's lucky. Kyoka have to agree with that there because he was born a generation early instead of this generation. I know it's a small group but I fucking hope it stay this way or just disappear. She stopped to calm herself down with a deep breath as her right eyebrow twitched rapidly. The reason why she have a twitching eyebrow is because she can hear someone following her since she left the dorm. Why are you following me? She sharply spun around to glare at whoever had been following her before her eyes widened. The person that followed her was Naruto. I do not know why I am following you, Naruto replied, taking one step forward. Stop right there. Kyoka held her hand out to him with a glare, 8 feet apart. Maintain the distance. She doesn't know why she said that. Okay, I understand. The blonde obeyed her and the rocker was really clueless. She doesn't know what to do in this situation as the Noumu kept staring at her. Again, why are you following me? She growled. I do not know, he answered. Kyoka rubbed her forehead annoyingly. I don't get it why you're obsessing with me. What did I do to deserve that? Naruto's response was simply tilting his head. Don't play stupid with me. I know you have been staring at me almost all the time. I swear I can feel your eyes lingering on me from the back of my head. She had lost count of how many times she catch him staring at her from the corner of her eyes during the class, training and in common room of their dorm. Well, I am staring at you because I find you fascinating for some reason I do not understand. Naruto cupped his chin. I believe it is because you are the first person to tell me that I am a human when I clearly am not and make me questioning things that I never have experience or knowledge of. Although, and single answer always breed more questions. Just because I said that, the rocker looked at him funnily before she put hand on her forehead with a quiet grumble. Unbelievable. In her defense, she thought this guy was few screws loose when he went on about Noumu and humans at this time until after the USJ incident that they learn about the black Noumu and Numus was made known to public later. Only the heavy details and bit of their origins was revealed to the heroic community. The emotion you display in Hyde Alliance early, it is anger, correct? The blonde spoke. I read about the emotions in some books but I do not understand it. I desired to experience the feeling of anger. How'd I trigger it? It never applied to him that he already had experienced this emotion during the attack at the forest resort. Go ask someone else. Kyoka huffed. Does the topic of quirkless cause you to be angry? Naruto asked as the rocker sharply sucked air in through her teeth. Quirkless mean individual without quirk, correct? Leave me alone. She hissed loudly. I won't tell you anything because I do not trust you at all. He have been looking for them for a while until he finally find them at the park and the traitor grinned to himself as Jiro come off hostile toward the defected weapon by the look of her deadly glare. He give himself a quick check over to make sure that his appearance seemed to be disarrayed and a self-infected bruised cheek before he inhaled deeply as he suddenly appeared in front of them while holding his right shoulder. Jiro, get away from him. Wah? Kyoka turned to him with widened eyes. What happened to why? This bastard just attacked me. The traitor jabbed his finger at Naruto as the Noumu stared blankly at him. He's planning to capture you as his hostage. I know it. The rocker sharply whips her head to the Noumu in a stance. Yes, it's going so smooth like I planned. The traitor smirked mentally and he never noticed some confusing expression across the rocker's face. He can't wait to get revenge on this bastard for ruin everything that the villain alliance work hard for. It could have ended at the USJ if this defected weapon do his task properly and kill the symbol of peace instead of wandering off. Then he has to work his ass off to get information on the location of their training camp and send it to his allies along with the hit list. It would have been successful if it wasn't for the raid and the betrayal of this damn weapon. This fucker just ruined everything. But this time, he will put him down for good and send the good news to Villain Alliance. He can picture it, the greater reward. Wait, why is Jiro looking at him like that? Why does she look so shocked? Did something happen? It was you? The whole time, it was you? Kyoka said in disbelief as the traitor became confused by her statement. You sold us out? You're on their side the whole time. The traitor looked shocked. How could you do that to us? We trusted you. She inhales deeply to shout his name out angrily. Kaminari, you bastard. Wah, how? Denki stuttered. You forget you have a telepathy quirk, you dumbass. The angry rocker gritted her teeth with hay wiring jacks. What? The traitor narrowed his eyes. He know that the Numu's telepathy is one way like Mandalay's but more painful because the user's thoughts force its way into anyone's heads within the range. My telepathy quirk have been enhanced with Mind Link. It allows us to communicate by relaying our thoughts to each other within 15 feet. Naruto raised his hand up as if he just read his mind. I have obtained it 2 days ago and it trigger randomly on its own. I am currently in training to reduce the outbursts. The hell? Denki gritted his teeth. Can he play it off as some trick? His eyes widen when he can hear his thoughts echoing and it's in his voice. Oh shit. Oh shit, indeed. Kyoka glared as both teenagers faced the traitor. How long does the mind link last? Oh. The echoing voices disappeared from her head just now. Damn it. The electric user have no choice but to take her out since she's a witness now as he shot lightings at her with both hands and the rocker was about to dive out of the way but before she know it, Naruto swiftly scoop her up then leap backward far enough to dodge the lighting attack. The Noumu put her down before move 8 feet away from her. Why did you move over there? The rocker hissed while keeping her eyes on the traitor. As much as she hate to admit it, she have to work together with the psycho. I am maintaining 8 feet distance, Naruto replied. Now's not the time. Kyoka really wanted to facepalm. Just forget it. We gotta work together and take him down. It'll be easy to deal with Denki. All they have to do is try and force him into his dumb mode. Take me down. Denki smirked darkly as lightning danced around him. My weakness is bogus. The rocker narrowed her eyes as she wasn't sure if it's a bluff, and don't bother trying to call for help. I jammed everything within my range. So he was the jammer at this time. She gritted her teeth before the electric user throw a large lighting bolt at them and again. Naruto pick her up then dodge the blast. Hey, get as far away from him. The rocker pointed at a medium building in a distance. They need to retreat and come up with a plan. Okay. The blonde Noumu sprint faster away from the traitor. Get back here. The traitor chased them down as he levitated toward them by firing lighting from his hands, a move that surprised the rocker. Damn it, he has been hiding things from us. Kyoka thought furiously and little did they know is that a security robot had been filming them with camera eye in a small gap between 2 buildings the whole time. Once they get a good distance on Denki with few tricks of Naruto's clones, Kyoka listened to their surrounding to watch out for any signs of the traitor while going over things in her head. Should we make a run for it back to the dorm so they can help us? She bit her inner cheeks. No, everyone must be tried from the exam today and if we go for it, we won't be able to reach the dorm. The teachers? There are some that live on campus, but is there anyone close to us or still in? Damn it. Fuck. She glanced to Naruto with narrowed eyes as she whispered, Hey you. Get any offensive quirks that'll help us out. She doesn't know what quirks he have and how many, beside 2 or 3. My offensive quirks are Weapon's Arm, Cat's Claw, Hair Needle and Wind-based quirk, Naruto answered. That's it? Kyoka widened her eyes. Shit. There's nothing that can counter the electricity and in non-lethal way. How can we defeat him? She can hold herself up well with her quirk, but for stronger attacks, she need her amp gears for that. Do you want us to battle Kaminari with all of our powers and capture him? The Noumu asked. Yes, that's what we're doing right now. She growled annoyingly and furiously. We gotta stop him. I understand. Naruto nodded and the rocker was about to say something until she heard the crackling in air. Move. Kyoka dove forward, just in time to avoid a lightning bolt. There you are. Denki smirked down to them from the rooftop as he gathered electricity around in his uplifting right hand, preparing to throw another bolt at them. The rocker swiftly plugged her jacks into the ground near the building that the traders stand on and she channeled the sounds through it, creating a quake strong enough to shaking the buildings, and the electric user got distracted as he attempted to keep his balance, canceling out his attack in process. Follow me. The rocker ran with the Noumu and they take few turns throughout the alleys and streets. Where are we running to? Naruto asked. The highway. Kyoka shouted. We get a better chance of fighting back there. They run some more while avoiding Denki's bolts until they reach the wide highway and the teenagers sharply turn around to face Denki down. You ready? Yes, I am ready. The Noumu replied, finally giving up? Denki smirked smugly, the electricity dance around his body, and Naruto stretched his right hand's nails out into claw as the electric user laughed mockingly at that. What can you do with this claws? Scratching my paw. The Noumu just scratches at empty air with his claws, and the wind's raging everywhere as 5 gashes form across the highway toward the bewildered trader. He barely dove into between 2 gashes as his sleeves get cut off. What the? What did you do? Kyoka asked the Noumu bewilderedly and in confusion. I combined the wind-based quirk with Cat's Claw, Naruto answered her. That's right, he can do that like this villain from Kamino Incident. It just slipped her mind that the Noumu can combine, enhance and mix things up with several quirks. Denki shot toward them with lashing lightning and Naruto quickly charged with rearing fist, clashing with each other as Naruto's fist met the trader's face and the lightning met the Numu's stomach. The damage only lasted for a moment thanks to his regeneration. The trader's head reared back with a grunt before Naruto grabbed his collar, then started punching him few times as Denki firing few lightning shots at him, also hitting back with couple kicks and punches. Seeing an opening, Kyoka's left jack shoot out to jab the electric user's side, where his kidney is located, and Denki let a painful groan out, but he managed to grab her jack, sending volts through it and shocking the screaming rocker. Naruto quickly grabbed the trader's wrist with enough strength to force the trader to release the rocker before the Noumu sent him flying back with a haymaker, and Naruto quickly appeared next to Kyoka, who was trembling from shock. Then he put hand on her shoulder to transfer her injuries to himself. Gak, thank. Kyoka panted. Fuck. Denki pressed his injured side with a wince as he recovers on the other side of the road. He can feel some crack in the bottom rib from the rocker's attack. Kaminari. Why are you doing that? The rocker shouted. Why are you working with the bastards? Why? The trader's face scrunched up in a maniacal expression with wicked grin. For the new world. Once we take over the pathetic society, we will be free to do whatever we want with our quirks without restrictions. It'll be the strongest that will stand at the top while weak shall perish in their rightful places. His evil grin become twisted, meaning, your dear daddy have no chance surviving the new world until you're willing to become one of my bitches. In your dreams? Kyoka shouted, her anger flaring up, and she blasted a sound wave at him with her right jack. Such a pity. Denki launched himself up in air to dodge the rocker's sound blast, and he was about to launch few bolts, only to receive a dropkick from Naruto in air. Wah, when did he? He noticed several clones in air with smokes as he fall downward, and he quickly realized what the Noumu did. The defected weapon used his clones as stepping stones to get himself high up in air to get a drop on him. The trader gritted his teeth as he gathered electricity together under him as soon as he get closer to the ground, and he strike the spot under him, slowing his falling down. By the time his feet made contact with the road, the clones piled on him with kicks and punches as he tried his best to block them. Why, you fucker, enough? Denki roared as his body explodes in form of lightning barrier, sending the clones away in all directions as they vanish in smokes. Jiro, I cannot create any more clones, Naruto said to the rocker as soon as he landed near her. Limit? Kyoka asked. That would make sense because he has been spamming clones right and left, but it's not like he can do it forever. Yes, that is correct, he replied. I cannot use Thief's Arm either. It have a time limit and I cannot use it for 2 more days. What the heck is Thief's Arm? The rocker wondered, have never heard of it until now. I have no choice but to use this move. Denki narrowed his eyes at them with gritted teeth, but if I use it, this bastard will stop me before I can get it in, until, his right hand slipped inside his pocket and he take out some kind of vial. What's that? Kyoka noticed his action, curious what it is. The trader noticed her puzzled expression with a smirk. It's a trigger drug, and what it do is to amplify the potency of a quirk. He popped the cap off with his thumb. It's commonly used among the losers with weak quirks in hope to be a top dog, but what'll happen if someone with powerful quirk, say like me, use that? Denki take pleasure in the rocker's shocking realization as he injected trigger drug into his neck, and you know what the beauty of it? It's not the watered-down version, that is the America's trigger. The effects kick in almost immediately as his body explode in form of pure lightning, his body gain golden tint, the sparks coursing through his veins, his eyes spark brightly with blue tint and his sticking out tongue become black. Now you two are fucked. He channel massive amount of electricity into his right hand. The lightning become pitch black before he charged toward them at a booming speed as the road and buildings in his surrounding explode under the lightning. He thrust his lightning-coated hand toward Kyoka and she can't make any reactions in time because of the speed as her eyes widened before his hand pierced through chest, the blood spray out, on the side of Kyoka's face and her shirt. Wah! Kyoka choked out in shock as she stared at Naruto's back and her gaze slowly drift down shakily to the bloodied hand that stick out through his back, where his heart should be. Why did you? Everything just happened in a blink. The Noumu jump in the way and push her backward, taking the hit for her. I know you would do that. Denki laughed manically at the hanging head of Naruto, that's why I went for this bitch in first place. He can't wait to tell Villain Alliance the good news. He look over his victim to grin evilly at the shocked rocker, time to take care of you. I'll tell everyone that the bastard here went crazy and, a fist swings toward his face from left side as he notice it from the corner of his eyes. Wah! His head get knocked back with enough force that his hand pulled out from Naruto's chest as he launched few yards away with few tumbles. Wah! Who? Denki rolled up to his feet to look for his attacker until his sparking eyes widened at the sight of the Noumu holding his fist out. What? But, Naruto's head suddenly lift up to reveal a blank face. How are you still alive? I destroyed your heart. I am a Noumu. Naruto said calmly as if he was answering an easy question, the bloods dripping down his chin from his mouth. Why you? Kyoka stared at a large hole in his chest in pure shock, mixed with a small relief, as the size gets small at snail pace and she feels sick seeing some bloody vein Y strings connecting everywhere. Why you're okay? I am fine. The Noumu replied as if he doesn't have a shrinking yet large hole in his chest. Why you? Fury filled Denki as the lightning dance around with roars before he charge again. You fucker. Why can't you stay down? Naruto acted faster as he scooped the rocker up and he took off, bouncing off the walls of buildings while carrying her. The teenagers narrowly dodged the traitor's wild shots and Kyoka occasionally sends sound blasts at Denki's direction in attempt to slow him down, but the traitor zoomed right and left like a living lightning. What are we going to do? The rocker asked, ignoring the fact that she was getting covered in Naruto's blood more and more. He's too powerful. She doesn't know how long will the drug last or if it's permanent. I am thinking. Naruto replied, I cannot use weapon arms since it contains metal and it attract electricity to us. I am not sure if wind can counter Kaminari's quirk, neither combine it with Cat's Claw because Kaminari is faster and I believe the hair needle will be useless, due to inaccurate shooting. Fuck, and we're screwed, Kyoka grimaced, only if they have an erase quirk like Aizawa-sensei's. She pray mentally to whoever is listening for help to get them out of the jam and something come into her view. Wait, go over there, over there. She pointed at a tall metal pole on a rooftop and the Noumu swiftly jump over near the pole, putting her down. Can you rip it out? Yes, I can. The blonde Noumu tear the pole out from the base. When he come at us, I want you to throw it all way up in sky above him. The rocker raised her jacks up as she watched the traitor fly toward them menacingly, then we hit him with everything we get. RRRRRRAAGH. Denki get closer to them with a roar and he shoots lightning arcs toward them. At same time Naruto threw the pole up in sky above the traitor. To the traitor's surprise, the lightning arcs bend upward and fly up to strike the metal pole. What? Lightning rod. Kyoka grinned as if she was answering his unasked question. The metal pole was indeed the lightning rod. The rocker and the Noumu quickly launch sound and wind blasts at the shouting traitor, knocking him out of the sky as Denki crash into the rooftop with fizzing electricity. They wait for a few moments before the rocker release her breath. It's finally over. Think again. The traitor shot up with a roar as he bring his hands up to the sky. The black clouds form violently with lightning arcs sparking as the teenagers prepare themselves, one with expressionless face and other one with shocked and nervous expression. Prepare to meet Raijin. Denki swing his arms down with a manic laughter before, the electricity fizzed out and the thundercloud dispelled right away like it had appeared as his quirk give out on him. Wah, before he know it, the scarves lash out to wrap around him and he hit the ground with a hard thud as he attempt to free himself, his mouth gagged. Stay down. Denki froze at a cold voice as a footstep on his back and he glanced over his shoulder to meet Aizawa's deadly glare with red eyes. Aizawa-sensei. The rocker felt tears welling up in the corner of her eyes as the scruffy teacher arrived with Vlad King, Cementos and Midnight like heroes, despite the fact that she know they do it for life. Kaminari. We know. Vlad King bent down to cuff Denki's arms behind his back with quirk-suppressing handcuffs. We heard everything from the security cameras. What? The traitor becomes baffled. After the USJ incident, we add anti-jammer device to the security system without informing anyone. Aizawa glared down at his stew. No, traitor. Only Nezu and the pro-hero staff know. Fuck. Denki squirmed angrily as Vlad and Cementos hold him down before Midnight put him to sleep. Jiro, Shiratoko. Aizawa move over to his students after release the traitor to the others. I'm sorry for not arriving sooner. He checked on them as the rocker nodded mutely in shock and his eyes lingering on the shrinking hole in Naruto's chest and bloods all over Kyoka's shirt and on part of her face. Come on, let's take you two to Recovery Girl. He looked over his shoulder to his fellow pro heroes and they give him, go ahead, nod before he gently led his students to Recovery Girl's office. The pro heroine will be there. Once Recovery Girl give you 2 checks, we'll talk about what happened, whenever you two are ready to.
Yeah, Kyoka sniffed before she glanced at the back of Naruto. The hole have disappeared but it have a large ugly scar and it was slowly fading. She tear her gaze from his back to her shoes in complete shame. She don't feel really good. Both teenagers sit in front of their teacher in silence as Aizawa give out a heavy sigh. Kyoka have told him everything from her argument with Bakugo up to Kaminari's captive after she changed into her gym uniform. I see. The scruffy teacher muttered, I will have a talk with Bakugo about that tomorrow. Discrimination is very serious thing that can't be taken lightly. The rocker nodded mutely with dipped head. For Kaminari, we're handing him over to the police along with your testimonies. He looked between his students for few moments. You two should go back to your dorm. You both had long night and I'm very sorry that you both went through that because of our irresponsible. What? Kyoka looked up. No, it's not your fault. It's Jiro. Aizawa placed his hand on her shoulder. It is our responsibility to take care and protect our students from dangers like we promised your parents, and we failed when a traitor turned out to be one of our students and attempt to murder the others. What don't make sense to him is how a traitor get through the background check. Again, I am very sorry about what happened to you two, and I'm proud of you. The rocker looked confused while the Noumu just stared. You two fought well and survived long enough until we get there. Because of you, a traitor has been caught and prevented any farther incidents, saving possible lives. If it wasn't for you two, he would have get away with enough info that would put anyone in danger again. The rocker chewed her lower lip as she looked down, that's true. Yes. The scruffy teacher glanced between the teenagers before he leaned back with a sigh. You two should head back now, and if you need to talk about it, I'm here, or hound dog, if you like. The rocker nodded. Also, don't tell your class about Kaminari. She looked up confused as Naruto just stared. I will tell them tomorrow. Okay. They nodded. Alright, midnight will bring you back to your dorm. I'm going to talk to the principal about tonight. He send his students out, watching them walk away with midnight and he wait until they disappear from his sight before he slam his fist on the wall. He was supposed to protect his students but one of them turned out to be a traitor and to make it worse, he would have lose 2 of his students. It's miracle that Naruto survived the fatal blow that would have killed anyone instantly, thanks to his regeneration quirk, and he was there to protect Kyoka. Aizawa rubbed his forehead furiously before he walk off to meet Nezu to inform him and discussing. When Kyoka get back to her room, she dropped down on floor on her rear and pull her legs in with sobs as tears finally flow out down her face. She can't believe that Kaminari betrayed them from the beginning. Kaminari, one of her good friends, a person that she can joking and pal around with, the one that have her trust, the trust that he threw back in her face and shattered everything, the bastard that tried to kill her just for some twisted vision he have. She cried harder and she cried more harder when she remember what Naruto did, working together with her and protect her when she don't deserve it in first place. She doesn't know what to do and she don't know anything anymore now as she cried herself to sleep on floor in fetus position. Everyone was up in the morning as they walk into the school and Momo look over to her friend worriedly. Jiro, are you okay? She asked. I'm fine. Kyoka uttered quietly, her eyes look little red and the creator looked concerned for her. Kaminari's not here. Minoru looked around for his friend, no one noticed the rocker's flinch. Maybe he's sleeping in. Honda laughed, I can see him running in late, screaming that he's safe. Naruto, where did you disappear to last night? Toru hopped up to the said blonde's side but she never get her answer when. Listen up, everyone. Tenya chopped his arms with a loud shout, stay in line and move quickly. We're going out to the grounds. Yano, you're out of line though. Honda pointed out. That's the president's dilemma. The class president trembled. Aizawa-sensei didn't come to the entrance ceremony either. Ochako looked around, maybe this time he had something to do, too. I heard everything, Clausa. Everyone turned their heads to a familiar voice to see Nito leaning against the locker shelf on his arm with a mocking grin. 2 people. They said 2 of you actually failed the provisional license exam. So, it was only you that failed. Again. Eijiro cupped his chin and the copycat laughed loudly before he spun around. So which was it? Everyone here passed. The copycat smirked in front of his class, looks like you've fallen behind, Class A. Sorry, Shoto said gloomy, everyone. It's a one-sided competitiveness on their part, so don't worry about it. The hardened user waved his hands. Vlad teacher say, we go our class together work and study. Pony spoke with broken Japanese as she looked little timid to the class, let's enjoy. Really? Eijiro grinned, I can't wait to work with you. She's a foreigner. Minoru ogled the American with drool. And wheel, the foreigner listened to Nito's whisper, beat the shit out of you. She turned to her classmates with innocent cheery grin. Don't teach her to say weird things. Itsuka smacked the laughing copycat's head upside. Hey, some students looked back to see Hitoshi narrowed his eyes at them annoyingly, you're holding us up back here. Apologies. Tenya chopped his arms rapidly. Come on, everyone. Let's refrain from speaking of private matters here. We're causing trouble for other people. Don't show me any more of that lame-ass shit. The purple-haired boy huffed. Shinso. Fumikage changed his shoes. He's the guy that fought Midoriya at the sports festival. Kyoka can't help but to voice her inner thought. Huh, that guy seems, Honda placed thumb on his chin, a bit more rough around the edges. The classes finally head outside to gather in front of their principal and the staff. Hiya. Nezu raised his paw up. It's me. Everyone's lovable, tiny mammalian principal. He start to give a longest speech that some students feel like falling asleep until he say something that make everyone listen. The thing that has thrown my lifestyle off track is, as everyone knows, that incident that occurred this summer. That is the cause. The loss of our pillar. The effects of that incident are beginning to appear even faster than we imagined. From here on, we can expect that great difficulties await our society. For those of you in the Department of Heroics, in particular, it will be most prominent. And for many of you second and third years involved in your hero internships, you must have an even more increased awareness of this crisis situation. Hero internships. Mina whispered to the frog girl. Maybe it's an extension to our schooling, like those career experience activates. Suyu whispered back. I know, this is a heavy topic and the outlook is bleak, but even if the outlook is grim, the adults are currently doing their best to somehow do something about it. Nezu spoke. I would like all of you to someday develop into people capable of continuing their work. Whether you're the Department of Management, or the Department of General Education, or the Department of Support, or the Department of Heroics, please do not forget that all of you are the successors to our society. He gave them a short bow before he walked off the stage and another teacher step up. Well then, lastly, a few cautionary words, from the lifestyle guidance teacher, Hound Dog Sensei. RRRRR. Hound Dog step up to take the microphone before he start to barking loudly. Yesterday RRR. Dorm. More barks. Used to. Growls. Life. He suddenly howled to the sky as the students watch on with gaping mouths and Vlad King take over. Vlad King cleared his throat. He said, last night there was a fight between students. You haven't gotten used to dorm life yet, but please refrain from doing such thing while living in the dorms. A fight. Momo put hand on her cheek with a blink, wondering if it's related to argument between Bakugo and Jiro. Okay, starting with the seniors, please returns to your classrooms. One of the teachers announced and everyone start to walk back to their classes. Say, don't you think one of teachers was acting weird? Someone asked. Hey, this guy over there. Someone else whispered little loudly to other students while pointing to Naruto, isn't he? Yeah, that's him. Another student glared, wonder why they let this villain in when he should be in jail. There were some unpleasant whispers among some students and their comments become trashy and insulting. Ugh, such hatred. Yuga looked dirty at the students that were badmouthing the Noumu before he looked to his fellow blonde, who just brush everything off with expressionless face. Hey, Mina was about to say something to Naruto. Ignore these morons, Shiratoko. Kyoka spoke while looking straight ahead as the Noumu turned his head to her, they'll eat their words. She glanced at him. After all, you're going to become a hero, aren't you? Yes, I desire to become a hero. Naruto nodded, but I do not understand, how can one eat a word? It's a saying. The rocker replied, and you need to change the way you speak, it's too weird and robot-like. The way I speak. The Noumu blinked. Very well, I will attempt to change it. How do I do that? Shorten it or copy someone else's speech. Kyoka replied, whatever you like. The blonde nodded at her and some of their classmates looked at them weirdly. Since when Jiro is friendly with Shiratoko? Toru wondered out loud. Yeah, Jiro agreed with the invisible girl, it was very clear as plain day to everyone that the rocker can't stand him and always act hostile toward him with some distrust like glaring openly and avoid him. Most classmates wonder what bring the changes. Aizawa was about to enter the class until Kyoka stopped him outside. Aizawa-sensei, can I ask you something? What is it? The scruffy teacher asked. About what Hound Dog Sensei said about a fight, the rocker muttered, is it about Bakugo and I or is it? Yes, it's about you and Bakugo. Aizawa answered, that and this are different kind of fights but the one between you and Bakugo is related to dorm life. She nodded in understanding. About the other thing, I'll tell them before the first period. Is that okay with you? Yeah, Kyoka rubbed her neck. Go on in. The scruffy teacher opened the door to let her in to take her seat and he walked up to his podium. Let's see. He opened his notebook as he ignored some whispers. Couple students ask about Kaminari. Starting today, you'll be continuing normal classes. There have been an unprecedented number of incidents recently, but it's time to shift back and fulfill your duties as students. Today will be limited to classroom lectures only. However, there will be even tougher training later in the semester. He's not talking about it. Mina whispered to the frog girl behind her. Yes, Ashido. Aizawa called her out with unraveling scarves. This sensation. The pink-skinned girl shivered. It's been so long. Excuse me, sensei. Suyu raised her hand up. During the opening ceremony, they mentioned something called hero internship. Could you please tell us about that? Actually, yeah, the principal did say something like that. Honta turned to the bird-headed boy. I was a bit curious too. Fumikage crossed his arms. He said that a number of the upperclassmen are currently engaged in it. Momo added. I intended to talk about that another day, but, the scruffy teacher scratched his head with a sigh, okay. I guess talking about it sooner would be more logical. To put it simply, it entails hero activities outside of the school. It's like the workplace experience you had with the pro heroes before, but this is the real deal. Ah, Ochako nodded. So we had that kind of system. She paused before she suddenly raised her hand while slamming her desk with other hand, causing several students to jump. Then what did we work so hard for during the sports festival? That's right, Tenya said. If we have this internship, even if we didn't get any scouts from the sports festival, we still have paths open to us. Okay, calm down. Rikido sweated to the gravity girl. This ain't like you, Uraraka. The hero internships will use the connections you gained from the scouts that you acquired during the sports festival. Aizawa explained, this is an optional activity for students that is not linked to your classes. If anything, if you weren't chose during the sports festival, it'll be difficult to take part. Originally, each hero office would individually recruit, but in order to pull in UA students, they were constantly bickering. So this method was created. Got it. Then sit down. Sorry for jumping to conclusions. The gravity girl sit down sheepishly. With the acquisition of your provisional licenses, you can now participate in more long-term, professional exercises. The teacher continued, however, there isn't much precedent for freshmen receiving provisional licenses. Because of that, coupled with the revival of the villains, we are cautiously considering the matter of your participation. He placed his hands on podium. Well, on a later date I will give you proper testimonials, as well as our plans for the future. We've got our own things to concern ourselves with. He paused to glance at his students as they collect the information in their heads before he clear his throat for attention. I have something to tell you concerning Kaminari. That surely get most attention. Last night, as he told them about Kaminari's true color and the attack while leaving couple details out like the hole in Naruto's chest for example, the class was met with disbelief, shock and many emotions or indifference. Jiro. Momo swiftly turned to her friend worriedly, are you okay? Yeah, I am. Hyoka replied quietly, keeping her eyes down on her desk. What about you, Shiratoko? Eijiro looked to the said teenager. What about me? Naruto turned to him. Nothing, guess you're okay and all. The redhead waved it off with worried expression, it looked like there's nothing wrong with the Noumu. Because of that, the first period will be free study and Hound Dog is available for counseling if anyone here wants. Aizawa spoke, you can meet him anytime during periods, ask one of teachers for hall pass and they'll give you one. Anyone hear me? The students nodded mutely, I'll be taking my leave. He leaves as some students bid him bye before it become quiet as several students shakily leave the classroom to see the counselor. Pathetic. Katsuki clicked his tongue with a scoff, two shitty extras can't even take a single weak-ass fucker down. I can murder this ba. Now is not the time. Mina snarled at him with deadly glare, having lost some respect for this guy and the explosive teenager glared back. I'm going back to the dorm. Hyoka get up, not want to deal with everything today before she looks to her friend. Yao Momo, can you tell teachers that I don't feel good? I will. Momo nodded with worried expression, but are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. The rocker left the class to walk back to the dorm and Tenya did nothing to call out for skipping school because he understands the situation. I'm worried about her. Ochako stared at the door with a mutter and few classmates share her sentiment. What is free study and how do one do it? Naruto asked Yuga since they are seatmates. It's a free period, you can do whatever you want. The laser user replied, eat foods, study or relax. I see. The Noumu replied, is it allow for one to visit a school library? Then I shall go to library. Naruto get up then left the class. Be sure to come back for the second period. Yuga snapped his fingers with a shiny star. The news of Kaminari don't hit him very hard because, like very few classmates, he wasn't close to the traitor. Part of him wonders what Naruto want to look up in library. No matter how many books he read, Naruto still can't understand many things like emotions, parents and etc. How do one acknowledge a feeling of emotion? What is the purpose of family and what make one a parent or child? He had asked few people but they never give him any answers and when he asked Salad about that in the passing, the snake-armed Noumu just give him a smile and said it's something he have to discover on his own, which confused him farther. How do I discover them on my own? Naruto wondered to himself as he watched a line of marching ants on ground outside. It was lunchtime. Hello, Shiratoko. The Noumu glanced up to see Reiko with the rest of her female classmates. The girls were walking together to the cafeteria, talking about their licenses and random topics until the ghost girl spotted Naruto and she approached him with others following her, some curious and some worried because it's unlike of Reiko to go out of her way and it's the Noumu that was presented during the training camp incident. What are you doing? I am watching the ants. He replied, earning few raised eyebrows. Do you want to eat lunch with us? Reiko asked after a pause. Why Yanagi? Kanoko choked on her spit and 2 or 3 girls looked bewildered at her question. I am a Noumu, we do not require foods and drinks. Naruto replied, the Noumus bodies were modified as a living weapon, and because of that, they can survive without foods and water. There was few times that Tomoko tried to have him eat her cooking, but he never touch it, seeing no point in eating. Really? Itsuka raised her eyebrow farther up, but I saw Salad eating salad the other day. The Noumu simply turned his head to stare at her blankly for few moments before he turned back to the ants. Is that so? He uttered. That puzzled him. Why not come with us and eat? The ghost girl asked again. Maybe you'll find your favorite food or enjoy it. No, I will stay here to watch the ants until the next period start. Naruto stared at marching ants as they carry tiny crumbs and leaves. Oh, okay. Reiko sighed dejectedly. See you later. She walked away with her classmates. She'll try again next time. Setsuna nudged the white-haired girl with a sly grin. Get hot for him, huh? Yes, I do. The ghost girl said shamelessly as the greenette nearly stumbled over her feet along with few others. You can say it's a love at first sight, and he's kind enough to take a baby bird in after it has been abandoned. I agree with her about him being kind, despite his sins. Abara nodded. After all, he have healed us. If it wasn't for Naruto's kindness, Bondo and Shishido would have ended up in hospital or worse. This knowledge was already shared with her class when they talked about a bizarre Noumu a day after the training camp incident. Okay. The greenette girl gave them a little odd look before she shrugged her shoulders. Alright, Ray, I'm not gonna judge you on your weird taste in guys. Good luck with that. What they talk? Pony asked Itsuka with broken Japanese, and the orangutan explained to her as the group went to get their lunch. After he fed the kittens and puppies and put them to bed, Naruto walked down to the common room with sleeping baby bird in his hair and he turned the television on. He was the only one up very late at night since everyone are sleeping, and Naruto flipping through channels, pausing few minutes to listen then repeating his actions. There is a reason why he is doing it, and it will be answered in the next day. Chapter 4. Aizawa's so done. Tsuyu, Momo and Kyoka ride the elevator down to first floor in silence since it's early in morning and it have been 3 days after the incident. The elevator open with a ding and the rocker step out first before she gets startled when something tackle her shin with a hop, causing her head to snap down to see a cute Akita puppy with rapid wagging tail. Wah. Kyoka can't help but to pick the puppy up, cradling the creature in process as the girls lean closer to take a good look at cute exciting puppy. Who does he? She corrected herself after giving the puppy a look over. She belongs to. I believe it is Shiratoko's. Momo guessed as they walk into the common room to see Naruto taking the leashes off the puppies as some run around and jumping off the couches with some soft barks and yips before the Noumu turn his head slightly to meet their gazes. Did you just take them out for a walk? Yo, what's up? Naruto spoke flatly. Faux show, I let the dogs out. Bo wow, yo. Kyoka and the girls were aghast by his bizarre response, and to make it worse for the rocker is that the Noumu also throw some rap gestures in, so many wrong gestures. Where the hell did you pick it up from? She screamed, ignored the wet feeling on her chin from the puppy's licks. The tube, yo. The Noumu replied, I float, like a butterfly. And sting like a bee. 'Cause I'm. Stop. The rocker screamed again as she hugged the puppy tighter to her chest. Don't you dare finish that. She recognized this horrible rap and she don't want to hear it again. Stop talking like that. Was that no good? Naruto tilted his head. Why were you talking like that? Tsuyu asked, trying her best to forget what she just witnessed. I was told to change the way I speak. The blonde replied before he paused for a moment. How about that one? He opened his mouth with expressionless face. Good fucking morning. What the hell bring you all down to the shithole here? No, please don't talk like that. Momo grimaced. Ever again. One Bakugo is enough. We don't need another Bakugo. No. Naruto paused. Wouldst thee prefer me to talketh liketh yawned? No. What the hell are you speaking in? Kyoka want to smash her face against a wall. Where did you get this from? Shakespeare, and I get it from a movie that I happened to find. The Noumu answered. Just go back to. The rocker grumbled. Then how about this one? Naruto cut her off. I'll talk like that, and if you don't like it, I'll switch back to my first speech format. There was a pause. What, you don't like it? Then I guess I'll. No, this one is better. The teenagers quickly speak out. Oh, okay. The Noumu nodded. If you guys excuse me, I'll take the puppies back to my room and feed them before school start. I barely get up and I already have a headache. Kyoka walked away with a grumble. Jiro, can you please give me Floofy back? Naruto held his hands out and the girls realized they still have his puppy. You named her Floofy. The creator can't help but to sweat drop a little. Yeah, because she have fluffy fur. He replied. I'm starting to think you have a horrible sense of naming. Momo sighed as the rocker quietly give the Noumu his puppy back before he gather his puppies up to bring them up through the elevator, and the creator turned to her friends. Would you like me to make some relaxing tea? Both girls nodded. They really need that after the whole encounter. All right, it's time you all heard the full story about the internship. Aizawa spoke to his class as soon as they take their seats before he turned to the doors. You can come in now. The doors slide open as the students look over. We'll be hearing about how it'll be different from your workplace experiences directly from a few who have gone through it themselves. Now they've taken time out of their busy schedules to talk to you, so be sure to listen carefully to what they have to say. Izuku give out a loud gasp when three older teenagers walk into the room. Even amongst the current crop of students, they're the trio who reign at the top of UA, the so-called Big Three. Those guys, Kyoka muttered. I'd heard that there were kids like that, but. The Big Three. Mina pumped her fists. Could you all give a brief self-introduction? The scruffy teacher glanced at the older students. Let's start with Amajiki. The black-haired boy suddenly glared at the class as most students shivered. It's no use, Mirio, Hado, Tamaki shuddered. No matter how much I try to imagine them as potatoes, everything except their head stays human, so I can only see them as people. What should I do? The words won't come out. His head dipped. My mind's gone blank. This sucks. He turned to face the blackboard. I wanna go home. He's one of Big Three. Honta questioned. Hey, hear that, Amajiki? The blue-haired girl laughed. They called it being a chicken. Yup, even though you're a human. Weird, right? She gestured to the gloomy teenager, then to herself. This guy's the chicken, Amajiki Tamaki, and I'm Hado Najire. We were requested to come here and talk to you all about the internship. She suddenly stand in front of Mezzo, but hey, by the way, what's with the mask? You sick? Is it a new fashion? It is in. Well, Mezzo never get a chance to answer her. Ah, you are Todoroki, right? Najire turned to the said person, right? What's with that burn there? Well, that's, Shoto uttered. Ashido, if your horns break, do they grow back? Can you move them? Can you? Mineta, are those ball-looking things your hair? Then how do you get a haircut? Asui, are you a tree frog? You're not a toad, right? Everyone I look at's so interesting. It's weird. You're saying you're interested in my balls. Mineta drooled with lewd laughter. That's sexual harassment, senpai. Dude, no. Honta gave him a naughty look. Hey, Shiratoko. The blue-haired girl turned to Naruto. The black lines that outline your body parts and muscles, are they tattoo? Hey, answer me. I wanna know. They're not tattoo, they're crevices. Naruto replied. As Noumu, my body is modified so it'll be easy to take more quirks in. Also I can detach a piece if I want to. The class, even the teacher, can't get used to his sudden change of speech. Ooh, can you do Transformer with that? Najire whistled before she suddenly turns to question another person. Never give the Noumu a chance to answer. You three really lack rationality, huh? Aizawa stared at the older blonde displeasingly. Please, do not fret, Eraserhead. Mirio pointed thumb at himself with nervous sweats, for I'm the main act today anyway. He suddenly turned to the class with hand cupping his ear, the journey ahead ease. There was a long awkward silence, rife with difficulties. Is what you're supposed to say. He straightened up with a sheepish laugh. Oh okay. Everyone totally failed to get the point. All three of them are weirdos, aren't they? Rikido whispered to Koji. They're called the Big Three, but they're kinda, well. They don't give off that feeling at all. Fumikage whispered near them. Well, your faces say you have no idea what's going on. The older blonde said, the internships, which aren't even mandatory, are to be explained by these seniors that just suddenly showed up. It makes no sense, right? You've acquired your provisional licenses as freshmen, I see, This year's freshmen are rather enthusiastic, aren't they? He nodded. Yeah, I see. It seems as though my introduction has crashed and burned anyway. Mirio. Tamaki hissed nervously. So everyone here. Mirio thrust his fist up with wide grin. Let's go and fight, you versus me. Most students cried out in confusion as he turned to the Class 1A's homeroom teacher. Having them experience our experiences with their own bodies is pretty rational, right? How's that for ya, Eraserhead? Do as you wish. Aizawa shrugged. Seriously. Honta stared at Mirio, who was doing some warm-up stretching, as most of Class 1A students look very worried and somewhat nervous since they gather in Gamma Gym. Seriously serious. Mirio smiled. Mirio. Tamaki faced the wall. You should stop this now. Just giving a textbook. This is what it is, so it'll be very valuable to you. Should be fine. So far away, Mineta muttered. It's not like each and every one of them has that burning desire to rise up in the world. The gloomy teenager muttered. Don't make it so they can't get back on their feet again. His comment earned some curious glance from his underclassmen. Listen, did ya know? Najire flicked Mina's horns as they bounced back and forth. A while ago there was this kid that got super discouraged, then they give up on being a hero, so they caused a bunch of problems. Did ya know that? It was really tough on Tagata. You've gotta think carefully or it'll be super hard on you too, like really tough, you know. Please, stop that. Mina whimpered with some shivers and before Fumikage can say anything, someone else shout out. Don't you look down on me, shitty extras. Katsuki charged toward Mirio. You can come at me wherever, whenever. The older blonde just smiled. Close range unit, we'll close in on him all at once. Eijiro shouted and everyone quickly take actions. Let's do this, fucker. The explosive user roared and all of a sudden, the clothes slip off Mirio's body, causing Kyoka to cover her eyes with arms and red cheeks. Hey, your clothes just come off. Kyoka shouted. It's good thing that Mirio's pant does not come completely off. My apologies. Mirio held onto his pant with a grin, the fine-tuning's a tad difficult, you know. Katsuki's exploding fist phased through his head to some teenagers' surprise and several realized that the older blonde's quirk is phaser. The face. He turned his head to look at the explosive user over his shoulder, really. Before the explosive user make a move, a wave of attacks from most of Class 1A went through Mirio and he vanished without a trace. He's gone. Tenya halt his running, scanning the field. Hey, don't get in my way, fuckers. Katsuki shouted angrily at them. Right-o. The phaser suddenly appeared behind Kyoka, long-range attackers first. He warped. The redhead gasped, it's not just about passing through objects. What kinda overpowered quirk is this? Wah, before the rocker can turn around, she was immediately taken out along with long-range attackers in a single blink by Mirio. Okay, class, Aizawa called out to the students as the older blonde shout, power, this is a great opportunity to get it beat into your bodies. That guy, as far as I know, Tagata Mirio is the man closest to being #1 hero. And that's including the pros. He took out more than half of us in the blink of an eye. Shoto watched from the sideline, so he's the man who's closest to #1. Aren't you going to join in? The scruffy teacher raised his eyebrow at the dual-haired boy then to the Noumu, you too, Shiratoko. There's no way you'd lack interest in the #1 student here. I haven't earned my provisional license, so, the dual quirk user tilted his head. I don't think I have to take part in that, considering the fact that I'm not taking an internship this year nor owning license. Naruto replied blankly. This the time to be docile. Aizawa fought the twitch in his eyebrow as he stared at two students, is that the karma for expelling the students on first day in past? Nothing left but close quarters kids. Mirio smirked with flicking hands. Fucking die. Katsuki charged, only to get a powerful punch to gut and he crumble on ground. What the hell was that? The hardened user choked out, I mean, the phasing is strong enough, but he can warp, too. Doesn't that make him like, invisible? Oh, stop. The phaser posed with a wide grin. There must be some kind of trick to it, guys. Izuku started to mumbling, and it doesn't matter whether he's warping through his phasing ability, or the other way around, as long as he's making contact with his attacks, if we just focus on countering him, then there should be moments where we can land our own hits on him. If we don't know what he's doing, that just means we operate within what we do know, make a hypothesis, and search for a way to win. He unknowingly impressed Mirio. Oh ho. Eijiro agreed with him, you're quite manly right there. Go ahead, search away. Mirio ran toward the group, only to sink into the ground. He sank through. Tenya cried before the senior appeared behind Izuku and the greenette suddenly surprised him with a round kick. That's no reflex shot. The phaser thought to himself, you telling me he predicted I'd show up here. His left arm shot forward, phasing through Izuku's leg to his face. But I've got a killer move for you. His finger phased through the greenette's eyes, blinding touch. The yelping boy closed his eyes before the phaser punched his stomach hard. Gotta tell ya, most people think up the same sorta counter-based strategy. Mirio sink into the ground, so I'ma make this a training session to hunt and destroy the strategists. He quickly went through everyone, power. The phaser gave a thumb up with wide grin and the moaning students lying around him, holding their stomachs. And, welp, Mirio smiled to the groaning freshmen after they recovered and gather around in front of him and his fellow seniors. Yep, guess that's the gist of it. I don't even get why but everybody just got off with a punch to the gut, Tenya moaned. You think my quirk's strong? The older blonde grinned. Try way too damn strong. Hanta cried out. It's no fair when I think of my quirk. Toru raised her hand up. I mean, you can phase and warp. Mina said, are you a hybrid like Todoroki or Naruto? He's not a Noumu. Naruto pointed out. OMG, I totally know his quirk. Najire raised her hand up while waving another hand. OMG, like, can I say it? It's called phase. It's Mirio's turn to talk, Hato. Tamaki cut her off. Nope, just one. Mirio laughed as the blue-haired girl pouted, phaser. And that warping, as you guys called it, works just the way you noted. What's the principle behind your warping? Izuku asked and the senior explained how his work by using his phase quirk and shooting himself up because two objects with mass can't overlap. That sound like an IRL glitch. Mina puffed her cheeks out with a pout. Perfect way to put it. The phaser laughed out loudly. He can phase through every attack, Suyu said with finger on her chin, and move anywhere he wants instantly. Any way you look at it, that's a strong quirk. It's not a strong quirk. Mirio replied, I made the quirk strong. When it's activated, my lungs can't take in any oxygen. Since any air I inhale just passes through me. By the same token, my eardrums won't vibrate and retinas won't receive any light. I phase through everything. That means, all I retain is my mass, without being able to sense anything around me, apart from the sensation of falling. Do you really understand? Because it works like that, even if I'm only going through one wall, a simple movement requires several processes. If that was me, Mineta muttered, the bigger the rush, the more likely I'd mess that up, and hard to move if you can't felling anything. Yep, sure enough, I fell behind. The phaser nodded. In a blink of an eye, I dropped to the bottom of the barrel. My clothes dropped too. He tapped his forehead. The one mistake I couldn't afford to make with this quirk is being too slow to pop back up. Predict. Faster than your surroundings. And occasionally, you've gotta use deception. But more than anything, I needed to be able to predict. And the thing that makes that prediction possible is experience. Use the experience to put together your prediction. It was a tad long, but this was the real reason for our bout. Rather than words, I wanted to show you through experience. During the internship, we're no guests. We're one of the sidekicks. We're there as actual pros. It's truly frightening. Sometimes you'll even bear witness to deaths. However, all of those terrifying moments and tough times are top-notch experiences that you can't obtain at school. He clenched his fist. I took all those experiences I gained in the internship and made them my strengths. Then, I grabbed the top spot. And that's why, freshmen, even if it's terrifying, you have to do it. He even speaks like a pro. Rikido clapped along with everyone else. He cleaned up that week and a half explanation in 3 panels. Momo smiled, earned few strange looks from her classmates. Guests, huh, Mezzo hummed. Guess the workplace experience thing did kinda feel like that. Yeah, they never let us face anything dangerous. Kyoka rubbed her earlobe jack. It's nearly time to head back. Aizawa announced. Hey, was there any point to us being here? Najire whispered to Tamaki, do you know? I'm glad we didn't do anything. Tamaki whispered back, let's give Mirio our thanks. Thank you very much. Most students said out loud to their senpais as they left the gym, and one of the students were boiling with anger inside. His anger will later cost him one more friend who just lost all respect for him in the locker room. Wonder what'll end up happening with the internship thing. Ochako leaned back on the couch with some girls in common room while few boys were in kitchen or doing their own business. The school have just ended a while ago. They said they were still checking out the situation for the freshmen, but the story of how Tagata Senpai reached the top from Square Zero's kinda inspirational. Mina said. For the time being, I suppose we're waiting for Aizawa Sensei's go signal. Momo undid her hairdo, combing it down. At this moment, Koda walked over to the group before he pointed at controller remote, then to the already on television timidly. Oh, go ahead, no one is watching it anyway. The creator nodded and the animal speaker changes the channel to some animal documentary show, which appears to be on live. I hope it's not gonna be a long wait. The pink-haired girl groaned and Naruto walked into the common room, staring at the group before he looks around. Looking for someone. Yes, where's Jiro? Naruto asked. I want to ask her something. Why not ask us? Ochako unknowingly cut Mina off before she can make a joke. What do you want to know about? She smiled. What's it like to be a parent? He asked as the gravity girl dropped her smile with some stutter while the rest turned to stare at him. I kept reading the definition of parent, family and children and tried to understand the purpose of it. But no matter how many I look it up, I can't understand. It's kinda hard to explain. The gravity girl looked to her friends for help. Like she said, it's hard to explain because we don't have a child of our own, Momo said with an embarrassing blush. They're young to have children and the idea of starting family is far away from their minds. And to understand what's it like to be a parent is to be a one, you'll understand in time when you get your own child. Ah, I see. Naruto cupped his chin. To understand the purpose of mother and father, I must become one. He looked up to them after couple minutes of silence. How do humans create offspring? His question causes the girls and Koda to spazzing out with red faces. Oh, I need to ask Salad if it's possible for Numus to create their own offspring. It was a sudden curiosity. Ask your mom. Suyu croaked embarrassingly. Okay, I'll do that when Tomoko come pick me up. The Noumu said and everyone just look away from him out of embarrassment before the blonde noticed the wildness show. What show are you watching? Oh, Animal World, a wildlife documentary show and they're doing it live. The creator quickly answered, grateful for a sudden change in topic. Have killed the rivals, the lion have taken over the pride. The narrator spoke as the lion stepped away from deceased lion toward the pride before the creature turned his eyes on 3 cubs. The first thing the victors will do is kill the young cubs in order to mate with the lionesses. Whoa, they're gonna show it. Mina gulped as Koda covered his eyes frighteningly while the lion slowly stalking up to the crying cubs. Like, do they know that the kids must be watching this show? I don't think any kids would watch it since it's late. The frog girl said, the young kids usually have bedtime at this hour. Behind them, Naruto stared at the show intensely. He want to go over there and rescue the cubs as something inside him stir up. The lionesses appear to have abandoned the cubs by doing nothing as the victor is. The narrator suddenly choked on air when Naruto bent down to pick the cubs up as the lion jumped back with bewildered expressions. Wait, what? Shiratoko. Momo turned her head together with everyone to look at empty air. They sharply turned back to the television as Naruto held 3 confusing cubs in his arms, staring straight into the bewildered lion's eyes for few moments before the Noumu disappear in smoke and it clear up to reveal nothing. The lion rapidly whipped his head around and the camera even darting everywhere to look for any signs of the mysterious teenager. What the fuck? The narrator shouted before the technical difficulty screen comes up with a tune and the teenagers turn their heads as soon as they hear a pop to see Naruto holding the cubs in his arms, then they stare at each other, one blank face and many bewildered and shocked faces. I just got a new quirk that allows me to teleport. Naruto said flatly before he walked to the elevator. Now if you excuse me, I'll take my new pets back up to my room. Koda quickly run to join him as soon as the elevator opened. Wait, you can't keep lion cubs as pets. Tenya ran out of the kitchen with a shout and arm chop as he tried to stop the Noumu, but the elevator doors closed before he can reach it. It's illegal, Shiratoko. Most teenagers snap out of their stun and start to freaking out over the fact that Naruto just stole 3 lion cubs, even if they have been basically abandoned by their mothers. I'm going to give Aizawa-sensei a call. Momo rushed over to the secured landline phone in kitchen. Before the whole lion event, Vlad King blinks few times before he looked to Nezu then back to Aizawa. You want us to? Sekijiro raised his eyebrow. Swap a student? Yes. Aizawa replied curtly. May I ask why and who? The blood hero asked. Bakugo Katsuki. The underground hero said. His relationship with the class has deteriorated to point that nearly everyone stunned him and only 2 willing to work together with him on heroic lesson, although he refuses to work with them with his attitude and aggrieving everyone. After what they went through and Kaminari's betrayal, my class doesn't need any more hassle, even if it's from one of their own. Aggrieving? How? Sekijiro asked after scowled at the mention of the traitor's name. His class was put in danger during the camp training because of this person. Quirkless discrimination, even toward anyone who have quirkless relatives. Aizawa answered. The HUC actors wrote in their report that he said, in his word, who the fuck care about useless waste of space, they should do everyone a favor and go off themselves. One of his classmates overheard that and call him out on it. He start to insult and berating her when he found out that one of her parent is quirkless. I talked to him about that yesterday and told him to go to see Hound Dog for counseling or face suspension. Also, he punched Zero in face hard enough to break his nose in locker room today, just for getting in his way. During the Big Three's spar after Zero asked him why he refuses to work together and rush in. Shiratoko heal his broken nose before Zero report it to me with some witnesses. I already give Bakugo 3 days detention for that. He rubbed his forehead with a huff. The reason why I want to pass him over to you is because you must have better chance reeling him in than I do. I see. The frowning blood hero nodded in understanding. Like Aizawa said, he have better chance reeling Bakugo in because the blood hero is stoic and tough on his students and pull no punches if anyone act up in his class or out of it. He won't tolerate anything if a student behaves like that. Alright, I'll allow it. He nodded. I will choose a student to swap you with Bakugo, but I have a question. Vlad King glanced to Nezu. What'll happen if I can't control him? Then we'll place him in general education and have him see Hound Dog every day. Nezu steeped his paws. If he makes some improvement and stay on good behavior for a year, we may consider transfer him back to heroic department. That's acceptable. The underground hero grunted and Sekijiro nodded in agreement. If you allow it, I want to look into Aldera Junior High for something. He asked the principal as the creature looked to him for an explanation. I want to see Bakugo's record myself because there's something that bring up some red flags. In the files, we were told that Bakugo is a good student who's always on his best behavior and yet I don't see it with him around. Why we weren't told anything about his megalomaniac trait and other things. Yes, it does raise some flags. The Chimera nodded with a smile. Please do it and report whatever you find to me. I want to know. Suddenly, there was a ring and both Chimera and Blood Hero turned to look at Aizawa as he take his phone out. What is it? Aizawa grunted annoyingly before he paused with blank face. Shiratoko did what? And he took what? Hold on, I'll be there in few minutes. He hanged up then looked at his boss and coworker. Shiratoko teleported to Africa and took 3 abandoned lion cubs in to raise them as his pets. He has my permission to raise them. Nezu smirked broadly. In fact, he's now allowed to take any kind of animals in. Nezu, it's lions. The underground hero stared at his boss with twitching eyebrow. The UA Academy are not equipped to raise wild predators, neither. He has my permission and that's final. The Chimera laughed. He can't wait to see the chaos among the humans on campus. If you excuse me for a moment, he turned to the computer. I'm going to make it legal for Shiratoko Naruto to take wild animals in and raise them. Quote, comma dot. Goddammit. Aizawa stomped out. He should ask Nezu for a raise after he lectured the problem child. I'm going to look over my class roster and send you email as soon as I make a decision. Vlad King slowly walk out with somewhat confused expression and the Chimera start laughing like a madman. Aizawa stares sternly down at Naruto, who was sitting on floor in his room with a lion cub sleeping on his lap as the other cubs drink milk from bowl together with some kittens and couple puppies. Some teenagers were peeking in from the doorway and Toru want to comment on how she have never seen their teacher's eyebrow twitching this faster before but she keep her mouth shut as the teacher finished lecturing the Noumu about quirk usage and reckless actions. Shiratoko, you just become the most problematic child in my class right next to Midoriya. Aizawa grumbled and his gaze lingering on the kittens for a moment, sneakily snapping few photos with his phone without anyone's notice before he walk out with a grumble. Wait, you're not going to do anything about the cubs? Tenya cried out. He has permission to take any stray animals in. The underground hero grumbled, any animals. The teenagers blinked rapidly. I want one of you to keep eyes on him and make sure he do not do that again. He stepped into the elevator, and if he did it again, not my problem. The doors slide closed as soon as he said it, and the teenagers just trade looks before they look inside Naruto's room. What names should I give them? Naruto looked down to his cubs. Let us help out with that. Mina excitingly run in with Toru, both eager to get close to cute adorable cubs since it's not often anyone can get a chance to see them up close. The other teenagers have no clue what to do in this situation, and no one noticed that the elevator never stopped on the first floor but on a different floor. I have the result of yesterday's discussion regarding hero internships for freshmen. Aizawa spoke to his class the very next day, starting with the principal. The majority of the teachers said, give it up. What? Eijiro gaped, even after the info session with the seniors. But if we think about it from the sequence of events that led to everyone living in the dorms, I guess it would turn out like this. Suyu said. However, the scruffy teacher spoke up. There are also those with the option that under our current safeguard policy we won't raise you to be strong heroes. So this will be our policy. We will only allow freshmen to work at offices that have a good track record when taking in interns. That is the conclusion we reached. Some students start to discuss about agencies and someone have a burning question to ask. Sensei, do you know where's Bakubro at? The hardened user raised his hand up. I saw him walking into school early but. I was getting to that. Aizawa said. Due to some circumstances, we decide to transfer Bakugo to Class 1B and a student from there will be transferred to this class. Really? Eijiro looked surprised by the sudden news, few other were also surprised. He was little upset about that but at same time, he understand it's a necessary for his class since almost everyone are now on bad terms with Bakubro. Bakubro will accept his mistake and apologize to everyone, Eijiro know he will do it in time. About time. Honta scowled, feeling the phantom pain in his nose. He would have a broken nose if it wasn't for the Noumu who just heal him without asking for anything in return, and the tape user actually feel bad when he found out that Naruto's heal quirk transfer injuries to himself. Who is it? Rikido asked with raised hand. I hope it's a new hottie. Mineta drooled lewdly. I hope it's not Monoma. Suyu said, he get a screw loose. Before anyone can ask anything else, a knock on door cease everyone to quiet down. That would be the student, come in. Aizawa called out and the door slide open as most students lean over to see who it is. The new student turned out to be, class, that is Tsunotori Pony and she will be part of our class from now onward. He gestured to the foreigner as she looked little nervous and timid with bashful smile. She will also start living in your dorm too, her room will be on third floor right next to Uraraka's. While she have difficulty speaking Japanese fluently, she's capable of understanding Japanese as long as you speak clear and slow. Please do your best to help her with Japanese when she's learning speaking it. He gave a sharp glare to Mineta. Mineta, if I ever find out that you're teaching her to speak inappropriate things on purpose, he let the threat hanging up in air. GGG get it, sir. Mineta sweated bullets as couple girls gave him dirty looks and some boys can't help but to shaking their heads at him. You will do introductions later after class if you like to. The scruffy teacher turned to the American girl, Tsunotori, go sit up front. He pointed to the empty desk in front row and Pony take her seat while glancing around to some smiling students. Feel free to ask me anytime if there's something you don't understand clearly. Hi. Pony nodded rapidly to signifying that she understand him. Now let's go over few things before the first period. Aizawa looked down at the class schedule, today. When the period before lunch ended, some students eagerly huddle around the foreigner to greet her and few left to get their lunches. Hiya, I'm Hagakuri Toru. The invisible girl hopped with waving arm. I'm Shiro Honta. Honta pointed at himself with index finger. I'm, Yuga posed dramatically, only to be cut off. Yo, name's Ashido Mina. Mina grinned widely as the Frenchman sulked, despite the calm smile on his face. Yo, hot stuff, I'm Mineta Minoru. The purple ball-haired boy ogling her bust, what's your C? I'm Asui Suyu, please call me Suyu. The frog girl shut Mineta up with a whip of her tongue. Nice to meet ya. Pony smiled timidly, due to new surrounding and her poor Japanese. Naruto, what are you reading? Yuga asked the Noumu, walking away from the group. Penal codes and laws. Naruto looked up from the book in his hands to the laser user. Aizawa-sensei assigned me to read the whole book on laws. Something about teaching me the common sense. Sound like he's punishing you for the cubs. Kyoka snorted to herself, had heard everything from Momo this morning. I find human laws to be interesting but some are questionable. The Noumu glanced at the page, why is it illegal to dance after midnight? Also, do you know you'll be jailed for exposing your thighs? Some laws are not meant to be enforced. The French student's sweat dropped slightly and two students gave them a strange look, mostly because of the bizarre laws that they haven't heard of until now. I see. Naruto continued to read the law book. Yo, is Pony here? They turned to the front door to see Setsuna with the rest of the girls and Tetsu was right behind them. Here. Pony waved cheerily to her former classmates and they approached her, trade some greeting with few Class 1A students. Are they treating you well? Itsuka asked the blonde girl. Yup. The foreigner gave her a thumb up. Everyone nice and good to me. We helped her out a bit. Momo smiled. The blonde girl had asked them few times during the classes when she doesn't understand certain things. Ah, that's good. Setsuna patted the foreigner's head few times. I was a little worried that you guys was going to ride her hard for stupid reasons like being a replacement or from class 1B. Oh, I'll ride her H. Mineta was about to make a perverse comment until he got stabbed in eyes by Kyoka's Jax. Did you know we were going to have a switch or? The Oranget asked the creator. No, we were surprised by that. The creator shook her head. Where's my bro at? Tetsu asked, looking for the redhead. He went to look for Bakugo. Toru replied. Tisk. The steel user scowled at the mention of explosive user's name. Huh, this bad, Suyu said bluntly. It wasn't a question. Yui make a displeasure noise. He kept shouting, cursing and give everyone horrible nicknames. Kanoko muttered. Not to mention the death threats and reckless use of his quirk during classes. Abara frowned. Such a terrible person. How do you all manage to get through it every day? No one wants to talk about the fact that he have moved into their dorm and have to deal with him daily. We tried our best to ignore him. Momo winced in pity. Hang in there. Kyoka muttered quietly. Shiratoko, I accidentally cooked too much enough for 2 lunches. Reiko hold up a bento. Would you like to eat it? That earns few turning heads from the teenagers. I told you before, I'm a Noumu. Naruto looked up to her from his book with a blink. There's no need for me to eat and drink. Dude, just eat it. The rocker tilted her head slightly to glance at the Noumu. She went through the trouble to make it for you. Okay. The Noumu nodded to her, then received the bento from the ghost girl and he break chopsticks, looking down at the meal. It has white rice, fried chicken pieces and tamagoyaki. He decides to eat rice first, chewing slowly. Are you too? Reiko stared at the rocker with a jealous glint in her eyes, also anxious at same time. Whatever you think it is, it's not like that. Kyoka waved it off. I don't get it, but for some reason, he listens to me and do whatever I tell him to. Yeah, our resident Noumu totally likes Jiro. Mina joked. Right, Shiratoko. Hi, she's my first. Naruto take his first bite of tamagoyaki and it was the first time he can taste something. See, the grinning pink-skinned girl throw her arm around the Noumu, his first. What the heck? The blushing rocker cried out in embarrassment as the classmates and other students looked at her with few reactions. First what? Say who. Ashido said you're my first. The Noumu chewed the egg roll to scrutinize the taste, although, I'm confusing about what's my first. His first low. Mina grinned trollishly before the Jax jabbed her eyes. Gah. Damn it, Ashido. Kyoka growled with twitching eyebrow. Stop bullshitting him about things. Anyway, the ghost girl turned back to her crush. If you enjoy the bento, maybe I can make you bento from time to time if you like. Sure. Naruto swallowed the last piece of his meal before he give her back the empty box. Thank you. You're welcome. Reiko replied. Please visit class 1B once in a while if you can. That girl is crazy. Mineta trembled in fear while crying bloody tears. Who would like a scary Noumu? He's still the only one that thinks Naruto should be stay arrested because he's a monster. You know, it's still kinda bizarre to see a former enemy in this class. Tetsu scratched the back of his head with raised eyebrow, and he turned out to be pretty awkward, you know what I mean. But that's one of his charms. Yuga said with a sparkle, very dazzling. The students continue their lunches and small talks before the bell ring to end the lunchtime. Since Tomoko broke the news to him that their son have somehow bring back alive and she even show him the DNA result that Naruto's body is original with no extra DNA, he can't believe it. It feels so surreal as if it comes straight out of fantasy stories, but again, anything is possible in this world now. Tomoko told him that he can make decision to be part of Naruto's life or not, and the reason why she want him to know is because he have right to as the father of her child. Honestly, he don't know how to feel or what to do about that. Part of him see that as a second chance and get back together with Tomoko, another part of him want to go to bar and get shitfaced drunk then pretend that it was some fever dream, although the latter part is very tiny. He remember everything with Tomoko from wonderful accidental news to the heartbreaking day that they lose Naruto. He can't blame her for leaving him because he know it's too hard on her with the miscarriage. After their meeting, his gaze keep moved to his son often throughout the school days and hear news about him. He can see part of himself and Tomoko in their son. He feel a lot of anger toward the villain of Kamino incident and villain alliance for turning Naruto into a Noumu and use him against everyone. He feel proud when he found out that Naruto fought the traitor while protecting Jiro, which lead to Kaminari's captive. He get a small kick out of it when Naruto did something funny unintentionally like kidnap. Lion cubs are driving someone crazy without meaning to. He bury his face in his hands with a tired groan. He don't know what to do. Should he take this chance to jump in right away and hope for the best or leave it be? And how to one be a father to a teenager that suddenly show up? Is there a guidebook for that to help him out? He let out a long heavy exhale until someone have enough of that. Alright, I'll bite. Aizawa looked up to him annoying from across the desks. What's the matter? He looked at the underground hero with a pause. Should I tell him and ask him for help? Yeah, let's do that. He take a deep breath. I'm a daddy to a teenager boy. There was a long pause. Shota, don't you hear me? I said I heard you the first time. The scruffy man lifted his hand up. I was waiting for you to say it's a joke, but I guess it's real deal. He rubbed his eyes with a sigh. So, you have a son. When did you find out and who is it? Few days ago. He scratched his chin in deep thought to recall the date. And who is it? It's Naruto. Aizawa's head jerked up to stare straight at him blankly. Naruto. Aizawa muttered, as in Shiratoko Naruto. One of two Noumu. A nod and there was a prolonged silence. I can't decide whether to strangle you for spawning a true problem child or ask Nimari to put me in deep sleep so I don't have to deal with this shit. The man nervously chuckled at him. So what are you going to do, Hazashi? Honestly, I don't know. Present Mike slumped on his desk, resting on his crossed arms with a sharp exhale. The underground hero grunted at him. Guess they are going out for a drink to talk it out. Why is this guy my best friend? The scruffy man sighed mentally. Naruto walked down the hallway at late afternoon until a pink blurry missile tackled him and he looked down to meet May's eyes. Hey, you. May grinned. I've been looking for you. She pulled his wrist as the inventor dragged the Noumu. Come on. The suit's ready. Field test. She's really exciting to test her baby out and the best part of it. She can upgrade it as much as she want after found out that Naruto can gain new quirks and she don't care how it's possible. More quirks mean more new babies to make. They enter the support department and May shoved the briefcase into his hands before she pointed to the changing booth on opposite wall. Go in there and change. Okay. Naruto entered the changing booth and it takes some time before he come out. He wears a gray padded bodysuit with armored sections, gauntlets, boots and an orange trench coat. Like it. May grinned. I have an urge to say need more orange. He said. The suit is lightweight, Kevlar plated and made from rubber-like material. The inventor said, but the gauntlets are my real baby. I used a morphing material so your claws won't tear through them and I put few gadgets inside. She fidgeted with his gloves. Hookshot. A hook shot out with chain and it pierced through a robot's head. My machine. A random student cried out. This baby can let you grapple up someplace or pull whatever it latch on toward you. On cue, the robot's head get ripped out as the hookshot pull back to the Noumu and the random student cry ugly. Next, she tapped the gauntlet before a hologram screen appears. Ta-da. Holographic functionality scanner. This baby can scan items of interest, analyze compounds and send information securely to supercomputer here. You can contact anyone and send them information too. It also can search for people and any living beings within 30 miles. I based it off ragdolls. Your mom, search quirk. I see. Naruto tapped his gauntlet to turn the hologram off. Anything else? That's it. May said, your suit is a prototype. Until you get new quirks, I'll upgrade it to accustom them. She snapped her fingers. Oh. Your orange jacket, they're tear-proof and resistant to fire. The reason why it's like that is because I want to test it out and see if I can apply it to all costumes if possible. The fire resistance? He asked. No, the tear-proof material. She laughed. The less costumes to repair, the more time I can make new babies. You see, there's a guy that kept destroying his costume more than once, another guy that damaged others' costumes daily. It always annoying me that I have to waste time repairing when I should use this time to build and fine-tune my babies. I see. Naruto stepped back in the changing booth then come out in his school uniform with briefcase and he gave it back to May. Thank you. No problem. May patted the case. I'll go and stow it in Class 1A's secured lockers after a little fine-tune. She shoo him out with a wave. See you later. She returned to her table to draw up some designs for gadgets after put the case away. Wednesday noon. Some students of Class 1B were having lunches in their classroom to avoid Katsuki, who went to cafeteria to eat lunch and causing some disruptions at Class 1B's regular tables as usual, and they look up when they hear the door slide open to see Naruto stepping in. Hello, I was told that Yanagi have a bento for me. Naruto said. Yes, here. Reiko, who was sitting with the rest of girls at two pushed-up desks, lift a bento up and the Noumu walk over to fetch it. He was about to leave until she speak up. Wait, why don't you sit down and eat with us? Why should I? He turned to her with a tilted head. Because I want us to get a little closer and know each other better. She said as he stared blankly. Jiro would want you to do that. The ghost girl don't know if it will work on him by using this girl's name, but it appeared that the Noumu listened to the rocker out of three people around him from her knowledge. The laser boy and invisible girl were other two. Okay, I'll eat with you guys. Naruto sat down between Reiko and Setsuna, the former eyes him strangely and little cautiously with arched eyebrow. Few male students left right away, not want to stay near the Noumu, and the blonde opened his lunchbox then start eating at his pace. Kanoko chewed her meal nervously, feeling awkward like couple other girls as they weren't sure what to say right now until. How's the little bird? Reiko asked, the one you took in the other day. She is enjoying the birdcage. He ate some rice, although, she preferred to nest in my hair. I'm sorry, what bird? Setsuna raised her eyebrow. He took a baby crow in after she was abandoned by her mother, due to a defect, the other day. The ghost girl replied. Oh yeah, Pony told me that have been taking stray animals in. Itsuka hummed. puppies, kittens and few other animals. She heard a rumor about lion cubs but she don't know if it's true or not. Oh my. Abara looked to the Noumu. How kind-hearted of you. Couple girls agreed with the vine-haired girl. Huh. Never pegged you for an animal lover. The greenette with sharp teeth glanced up and down at Naruto. I like animals because they're easy to understand. Naruto took a bite of cut sausage. Unlike humans, I still have yet to understand humans as well as you do. There was a pause as the girls stared at him until a certain girl laughed out loud. Oh, I'm with you right there. Setsuna laughed before she shoot a fanged grin toward Reiko. You sure picked them out, huh? Shut it, you. Reiko narrowed her visible eye at her. Not want this girl to expose her crush to the Noumu and the said blonde. He was busy eating his lunch while examining every single person in the room and simply answers anyone that speak to him for the entire break. Kyoka don't know what to make out of this guy, neither know what he's thinking when the rocker end up walking with Yuga to gym for their heroic training. The reason why she was thinking is because she realized that Yuga was first to defend Naruto on the first night and have been hanging around the Noumu. Hell, she would say that the French student is Naruto's first friend. Hey, can I ask you something? Kyoka finally speak up. Sure. Yuga winked with a sparkle. What do you want to ask me? Why? She tried to come up with right words as she jammed her hands inside her pockets. Why do you trust Naruto so easily? I mean, when he came here on the day we all moved in, you was pretty quick to stick to his side and befriend him. I thought it was weird and something that I can't understand why, you know. Ah, the French student hummed with closed eyes. I trust Shiratoko because he want to reform himself and I want to show him that I support his dazzling heart when no one else do, because I know how difficult it is to live in society when you're reformed. My father's a reformed villain. Kyoka blinked rapidly with widened eyes. My father's quirk allows him to shoot small lasers from his fingertips and he used it illegally as world-class art thief in his early life. Yuga said. He was credited with over 1,000 stolen arts when he was arrested. He got out early on good behavior and I have witnessed the hardship he went through, the less trusts he received from people around him, the difficulty of finding a legal job and etc. He was able to go legal and work for police force and heroes as consultant in art field few years ago. He suddenly whip out a smartphone up in her face as it play a video of some seminar. He also gives seminars on thieves and how they work down to their tricks. He's popular by demand among heroic academies. Oh, she blinked once. I don't know. Wow, just wow. Now you know. The French student tucked his phone away with a sparkle. I know Naruto will face hardship ahead of him and I will be one of his supports for the bright path he'll take. He's a better person than I am, huh? Kyoka rubbed the back of her neck and at same time, she realized that she don't know much about her classmates after everything they went through. It looked like she have to change that sooner. Wow. Toru whistled impressively at Naruto's costume as she circled him. I'm digging the outfit. But, she tilted her head at his jacket with a small sweat drop. So much orange. Yeah, it sure stand out so much. Rikido squirted his eyes, and so damn bright it hurt my eyes. Something like that will scream. I'm here, to the villains miles away. Honta muttered. I think he don't mind. Pony tilted her head at the Noumu, who was straightened his arms out in T to show off his orange jacket with many sparkles around him. Well, he said orange is his favorite color. Kyoka drawled as she do some warm-up stretching before her super moves training. How can someone outshine Aoyama like that? Ochako shielded her eyes from the Noumu. She thinks she'll go blind the longer she stare at him. Some teenagers were busy with polishing their super moves or asking their teachers some questions about upcoming heroic exercise. Ooh, does that mean we're light buddies now? The invisible girl joked as she held her hand up to Naruto for high five. She recently discovered that her quirk not only make her invisible but manipulate light around her and have been focusing on this aspect since then. Naruto give her a high five with a tilted head. You're getting good with social cues lately. She slipped her glove on with a laughter before she blinked few times as she stared at her hand that she used for high five, slowly realized that she have been holding her gloves in other hand the whole time. Wait, her eyes snapped widened with burning cheeks and she slowly turned her head to the Noumu as she removed her right glove to confirm something. Naruto, how many fingers am I holding up with right hand? She held 4 fingers up. Hagakure, what are you doing? The rocker raised her eyebrow at the invisible girl's general direction, the others share her confusions. You know that everybody can't see. 4. Naruto answered and everyone turned their heads to him. Toru's right arm slowly lowered to cover her chest as she feel her ears burning red. BB by any CC chance, see can you CMM me? Yes. He answered simply. SS since when? The blushing invisible girl's left hand flew down to cover her groin. Since when? From the beginning. Naruto said. From the beginning. Toru blinked few times. Wait, do you mean, you can see me back then at this time? When the villains invaded USJ? Yes. He replied. Why don't you say anything? The invisible girl squeaked and everyone near them stay quiet, not sure how to act in this situation so they decide to let the invisible girl handle it since it's first for everything. That I'm visible to you. I don't understand. Naruto tilted his head. You don't know that I'm invisible? Toru asked after a short pause and the Noumu just shake his head slightly. How come you don't say anything when I wear my costume during the heroic classes? From the gauge of everyone's behavior around you, I assume you're a nudist. He replied, so I didn't say anything. The invisible girl nodded mutely. It kinda makes some sense since Naruto don't know that no one can see her. Oh, okay. The invisible girl shrugged her shoulders, slowly move her arms away from her private parts with heavy blush. I admit I'm partly nudist. Hagakuri. Kyoka dropped her jaw at her with hey wiring jacks. It's cool. Toru waved it off with her gloved hand. It's Naruto we're talking about here, he don't know a jack shit about dirty deeds and stuff like that. She gestured to the blinking Noumu. What are dirty deeds? Naruto asked. See. The invisible girl shrugged with her hands, and beside, if you think about it, he never looked down below my face. Some don't know if it's true and few others look thoughtful as they tried to think back, so don't sweat it. If I said it's cool then it's cool. But, Ochako blushed. I said it's cool. Toru sighed. If it make you feel better, be glad it's not Mineta that can see me. Now you say it. The gravity girl grimaced as the sneering girls start to agree with the invisible girl. I'm completely fine with Shirotoko seeing you nude. Anyone is better than this dirty gremlin. The rocker sneered. That is unfair. Mineta wailed as soon as he found out that the scary Noumu can see a nude girl. I want this quirk. I want to see her juicy bouncy tits. Her buckus. Her poo. He mumbled. Hey, is she natural down there? Does she shave? What about her nipples? Are they? Someone, please punch this pervert. Kyoka gritted her teeth furiously at the rambling pervert as the girls moved away from him and some boys were trying to tell him to stop. That will be great if someone do it. Okay. The Noumu walked toward the rambling pervert and the rocker blinked few times before she make a realization. Oh shit. The widen-eyed rocker whipped her head around to the Noumu's back. Wait. POW. Naruto's fist met Mineta's face in an uppercut, launching the short teenager up in air then bouncing across the ground until he stopped face down on floor with twitching limbs. The teenager stared at the Noumu with dropped jaws and white eyes as he looked back to them with innocent yet blank face, still holding his fist up in uppercut motion and the teenagers tense up when Aizawa approached the Noumu with expressionless face. Shirotoko. Aizawa stared at the Noumu and Mineta lift his head up with a joyous expression. Now the teacher will expel this scary evil Noumu and he can see all girls thank him by performing. From now onward, if Mineta harass girls, making sexual comments or cross the line, you are allowed to hit him. If any girls ask you to punish him in any way like kicking him in groin, do whatever they say as long as it don't end in murder. Hi, sensei. Naruto gave him a nod. Sensei. The pervert wailed in shock as the students looked surprised by their teacher's permission. They wonder what bring on the changes but no one mind it because they feel that the pervert have crossed the line too many times to point that it's difficult for some to stop him for their own reasons. Mineta, if you continue to behave like that, I will have you expelled whenever I feel like it. The scruffy teacher narrowed his eyes at the shortest student. GG get it. Mineta nodded rapidly with trembling body. He's scary as always. Honta commented with a tiny sweat drop. Yeah, but at least we have someone to punish Mineta instead of tie him up. Suyu croaked with finger on her chin and the homeroom teacher walked over to Izuku. Midoriya, please come see me in staff room after school. Aizawa said quietly so the noisy students won't able to hear them. Okay. Izuku wondered what did he want with him, maybe it's something relate to the internship or something else. He know he's not in trouble since he did nothing wrong since after Kamino incident. Anyway, I'm curious, Mina suddenly appeared as she threw her arm around Naruto's shoulders with a wide grin. What does Toru look like? That almost immediately catches everyone's attention since they're also curious what the invisible girl looked like.